Live from the internet, it's the BTB Internet Talk Show. Special guests, Pandemonium, Dean Martin. If you've got the internet, you get a talk show. Here's your host, Mr. BTB himself, Scott Curtis.
All right. So this is going to be a little bit different than the BTB Internet Talk Show in that this is a telethon. So we're going to go minimum 3 hours. We're going to go 7 to 10, maybe go a little bit later. If I need to get other people up, then I will go a little bit later. But the reason for this telethon is I have been chosen to be a finalist in the Discover Pods annual awards. So let's pull this up real quick. So a couple months ago we did the nominations, and some people nominated me, and thank you for that. I don't know everybody that nominated me, but a few people did, and I appreciate that. But the nominations don't actually get you into the finals. They actually listen to your podcast and see if it is good enough to be in the finals, and they thought mine was good enough. So I am very happy for that. However, I'm up against some big Podcasts. Armchair Expert, that's Dax Shepard. Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend. I mean, come on, it's Conan O'Brien. The Ezra Klein Show, Benjamin Dixon Show, big podcast. WTF with Mark Maron. So I'm up against them. The only good news is that they don't care about the Discover Pods Awards, so they're not pushing it like I am. And that's a good thing because I know I'd lose. But they're there, and if people are voting on other podcasts, they're probably going to pick the podcast that they know versus Behind the Bits if they don't know. So I'm trying to get as many votes as I can, and the reason why is if I can get a win on this, it will help me expand my audience and get as many people to listen to the podcast as possible. Just to rewind and tell you all about the podcast, why I started the podcast, and where it's gone since I started it. I'm a very impulsive person, and most of the things I do are extremely impulsive, but the podcast I actually planned for probably about a year before I started it. And what I did is I listened to a lot of podcasts that were similar to the format that I wanted to do, and I took down notes of what I liked and what I didn't like, and decided that I wanted to do a podcast where I talk to actual working comedians, not necessarily famous comedians, but comedians who have been on the road and are working and are making their living doing comedy, or most of their living doing comedy, and get from them all the information I can, and then have that as a permanent record via podcast of every tidbit nugget of information you can get. If you ever listen to my podcast, there isn't a whole lot of small talk. I don't get into how you doing, how's the weather, what do you like, and stuff like that. We get right down to business and talk, and it goes for about an hour. So I've gotten some nice compliments on it. So, and that's great. I appreciate the feedback. I am getting better as an interviewer and doing obviously the best I can. But what has come, especially through the pandemic and stuff like that, is, I've gotten close to the people I've interviewed. I've gotten close to the people I've met from other podcasts, other sites and stuff like that. And this has become kind of a launching point for me to promote and get the word out about things that are going on and help comics out. So that's really, I didn't expect that, but it's happened, and I'm glad I can do it. So what we're going to do tonight is bring a bunch of people up to talk, do some comedy, do some music, and just have a good time. I'm going to take a sip of my chipmunk beer. If you don't know, the chipmunk is our mascot. But we're going to do the telethon. And what I'd like for you to do, I'm going to, throughout the show, put the link for you to vote. And if you vote for Behind the Bits in the best interview style podcast category. That's the only category you have to vote for. You can vote for all the categories or just one. You put your email in, you click Behind the Bits, you click the send at the bottom, and you're done. But you can vote for more if you want. If you vote tonight, let me know, and I've got a special sounder for you. Yeah. And feel free to interact via chat every time somebody is performing that you like, people that you know. I'll put your comments up as I see them, and we want to have a good interactive time here. So I've got quite a few people here to start out. So I've got PJ Keene, Sandy Bernstein, Joel Brill, George Wagner, Jamie Dykes, and let me see if I get it this time. Ashwin?
Yeah.
Ashwin? Sing.
First time's the charm.
Ashwin, sing. Thank you guys for taking the early shift for me. I appreciate you guys coming in.
Great.
Anytime.
So obviously you are people I have met or I have seen through doing the podcast and doing different open mics and stuff like that, and it's been really great to just connect with people. I mean, that's really the only thing that this pandemic, that's the only thing that is good about it, and really the only thing good about voting here in the United States is that you can vote for my podcast. So you're not done yet. Let's give Behind the Bits as many votes as you can. So I want to catch up with a few people. I haven't talked to PJ for a while. PJ, how you doing?
Not too bad, man. Today I actually raked my backyard and listened to a lot of Adele actually while I was doing it, and it was a pretty good time. No secrets on Behind the Bits here.
What do you think about Adele losing the weight?
Couldn't care less.
Yeah.
Her voice still sounds the same, man.
Yeah, I think I think that everybody feels that way. And I like the way she handled it. You know, everybody was making comments and stuff like that, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm still the same person. Don't worry about it." So that was cool. Sandy, how you doing? So I've got a couple people in my age group here, and you're one of them. We haven't interacted as much as some of these other guys. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've been doing comedy for about 6 years. I started when I was 54. So I'm pushing 60. Next year I'll be 60. And I started late, but I mean, you know, it's never too late to start. And
thank you for affirming that for me.
It's true. How long have you been doing it? Have you been doing it about the same amount of time?
Yeah, I started at 52, so about 4 years for me.
Yeah. And it's interesting because I find a little bit more age bias than I do gender bias at my age. You know, people think that because I'm so much older than the audience that they won't be able to relate to me. But come on, everybody has mothers and aunts, and and funny's funny. And
if anything, it's a novelty. You know, seeing old people try to be funny is great for young people.
Yeah, we're not talking about Tinder and strip clubs and dating and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I had a conversation last night with some comics about some of the things that we saw at open mics, and I'm not going to say them right now because it's still too early in the show, but one of the things that we heard was extremely explicit at every open mic, and it's kind of nice not to hear that as much. So that's one good thing about the pandemic. Yeah, so I'll probably come back to you and maybe have you do a little bit of comedy for us. Joel. I see your green screen, and
I don't know how to get my picture up there. So.
That's totally cool. I think it's a lot easier in Zoom than it is in StreamYard. Yeah. So how have you been?
Good. Hey, is there a decal over my head? On
I need to remove that. Boop. There
There
you
you
go.
Oh,
There is all of Joel.
Thought you were making me wear a mask or something. Hey, I got a question for Sandy and you, Scott. Gio, I'm not sure how old you are there, but do you prefer older audiences?
It depends. I mean, sometimes they're uptight. So I guess, I mean, I don't really have a strong preference. Just so long as they're laughing.
If they're not religious, perhaps that makes things easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got different sets that are more geared towards different age groups, so I'll let the audience decide which set I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like what Sadie said before, where it's like, I really like it when people don't discriminate on the basis of age, except when it comes to elections. Like, I hope they would, but they don't. Like, that's my only, like, and forgive me for trying to add levity. I don't really have a dog in the fight. I'm Indian by nationality, and I live in Canada right now.
Yeah.
So, like, I could not be farther removed. I just like annoying people, and
What, you
it's
trying to make us jealous?
it's just so easy to, because everyone except me is walking around anxious right now, and it's just, I don't know, it's refreshing to me.
You got a spare room?
As I will say, as far as comedy goes, I really, so I tend to connect more with an older audience, but I really like the younger audiences because I do a shtick where I act like I'm cool and I use all the young words. Like I refer to my wife as my boo, my shorty, my bae, and stuff like that, and I slip in other words so I can change that up. If everybody's over 50, I'm not going to do bae, boo, and shorty as much, but I can do the same jokes. So I just say my wife, and so younger audiences just eat that up when old people talk young. They love it.
A friend of mine who's about my age has a story that he did a show in a assisted living center, and the youngest people there were like 70. And so he made this reference about smartphones, and he stopped for a second and says, who here has a smartphone? And like 2 people in the audience raised their hand.
Yeah.
So it's like that whole bit was just.
Yep. Yeah, my dad released his smartphone to a flip phone a couple years ago, and he's much happier for it. So
I actually don't know if it's funnier to see people that are older than me use language that people younger than me use, or the other way around, when people younger than me use like obsolete language. Like every once in a while you'll be in a car with somebody and they'll go, "Hey, can you roll up or roll down the windows?" And I'm like, there is no rolling happening.
Well,
Just it is a button.
yeah, if you think about it, everybody knows what this means. Nobody knows what this means.
yeah.
And it's the same with when people get mad if you abruptly end a phone call. They're like, they hung up the phone. I'm like, there is no hanging up of anything happening anymore.
Yeah, there's that little button.
Exactly. I was just going to do
Yeah,
that.
it's just a button.
You
Yeah,
button.
dial me up and actually I did this to somebody, to a younger person. They flipped me off.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I think this language is like just in context so ubiquitous, and people just use it so often. It's kind of like your mother using cardinal directions in the house, where you ask her where the towel is and she goes over there on top of that, and you know exactly what she means.
Yeah.
But it's like this
like
means roll
blue
down the
cell.
window. This means hang up the phone. This means look down. This it's the same gesture for everything anymore.
Yeah.
It's all buttons.
Oh, and this, I don't know the directions because my video is mirrored, but this means I find you attractive, and this means no thank you.
I get it.
So I just put Krish in, and I've got both my brown people in the same place. So I got to move this around a little bit so it doesn't look like I'm segregating. So, Ashwin, I put you up by me. So as we're talking, Ashwin, I haven't talked to you for a while. First off, you have a beautiful voice. My wife and I, my boo and I, listened to your YouTube video quite a few times after you shared it with me. But what's new with you?
Well, thank you for that introduction, for saying that. I'm really glad you enjoyed my music. It was just I just play old Sam Cooke songs because I'm a fan of older music. But so if you are ever in the mood, feel free to check it out. But I've been all right. My biggest hurdle, like many of us in the pandemic, has just been connecting with people because
Yeah.
I get a lot of my emotional strength from making fun of strangers.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they are not as available as they as they
Right.
used to be. But I think I've been okay. I thankfully, even though I don't have family here in Canada, I have a chosen family that I have a responsibility to, that I've built over the years, and they've helped. And I think for some reason, having more time to think through the things that are happening might actually have been helpful, because I can now add levity to a lot of serious things that I was struggling with when the pandemic hit. Like the election is one of them, but like police brutality, I can now think through a little bit easier.
Hmm.
Cancel culture, just a lot of like interesting things are happening, and I'm glad that we have time to think through them.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree. I'm going to take it over here to Jamie because he's up late. He's over in Wales, and it is
Hi.
a little bit after. It's quarter after midnight for you. So, what's
Yeah.
going on, Jamie, my friend?
All good, my bro. You okay? How's it going?
I'm doing great.
Good, man. I think it's only fair to admit to the whole group, like an AA meeting, that about 10:30 or 10 o'clock this my time PM. I sent Scott a message. I said I'm waiting backstage like a fucking whore. What's going on? And he said, well, it don't start for another hour and a half. I was like, what the fuck? But my clocks went back a while ago and yours went forward, so I'm going to blame it on the clocks. And
I was on my way to Taco Bell to get a bean burrito when you sent me that message.
I apologize. I bombarded you with shit then, saying I'm sorry, I'm a fucking delinquent. So I went back to my little hovel and I just watched Question Time and wrote some bits and pieces down. So yeah, I'm all good. I'm alive. I'm well. I haven't got a bad cough. So
That's good. That's good.
yeah, I'll do. We got to stop meeting like this, Scott, and after hours, because people are gonna talk.
Yeah, I'm gonna come to England and see right over to Wales to see who can outdrink each other, because I'm glad I'm not an alcoholic, because I sure love to drink.
we can work on it together. It's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
George, I haven't talked to you for a while. What's up?
Not too much.
I see your name all over the place. You're doing a lot of stuff.
I try. Actually got a show tomorrow that we're putting on.
It's quite funny how everybody else gave long introductions and George is like, yeah, not too much.
Yeah, I'm doing this. That's what happens when you get our age. If we're not talking about our health, it's pretty quiet.
Yeah.
Is it bothering you?
Yeah, we're actually doing a Zoom comedy show. We did live comedy before the pandemic. Hang on, I have a train coming. I'm going to move for just a second.
Nice.
So you notice that a lot of the people on this call are a little bit older. I mean, is this like the early bird special?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But as I said, we were doing a comedy show at a venue underneath a nightclub, and we were actually just starting to get it going. We've been doing it for like about 5 months. We're getting good audiences. Then the pandemic hit. It's like, shit.
Yeah.
So we went to Zoom. Been doing it like every other week, every other Friday, and we've got one this Friday. I've been trying to get. With the nice thing about the pandemic is I'm getting comics from all over.
Yeah.
We part of the Displaced Comedians group, and we've been pulling in people from all over doing the showing. So it's nice to get a lot of variety. I've also noticed that a lot of the local comics who are really good were like, no, I don't want to do Zoom comedy. Well, then they haven't been doing any comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're starting to trickle in now, aren't they?
Yeah.
I was the exact same, George. I was the same from the get go. I was talking to Scott in his podcast a few months back about Zoom gigs, and I know a lot of comics who switch from live gigs to Zoom. and they took to it like no one's business. But for me, I held off for a bit. I just didn't think it would be for me, and it's not something for me specifically, but I've done it because you got to try and get your fucking material out there any way you can, especially during the pandemic, you know.
And the thing is, I went from doing about 4 open mics a week to doing about 4 open mics a night.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, I may have to work on my stage presence a little bit, but I always try to do it standing up when I do it on Zoom. But I may have to work a little bit on my stage presence because right now I'm working in a box, you know.
Yeah.
And so all my hand gestures have to be up here.
Yeah.
And so when I get on stage, you have much more room to work with, and so it'll be a little bit of getting used to that. But my material, my timing and stuff should be pretty decent.
Yeah. It's very interesting too because you would, I think, in any room where there are comedians, I think when I say this, they all understand. I don't think comedians are the type of breed that do things they don't think they'll enjoy. Like they're very like autonomous in the way, like the rebellion is the word, you know. But I think they're slowly realizing it's important, even if they don't necessarily get the same energy from it, because I also think, you know, the last thing a comedian wants is to be alone with their own thoughts for 6 months. That's not I doubt that's great for their mental health either.
Yeah, you don't want razor blades nearby when you do that.
Yeah.
And how many times have people stood in front of the mirror to practice their bits? Well, now you're standing in front of the mirror practicing your bits, but you get laughter too.
Yeah.
Right, and that's fun too, because something like guitar or an instrument you can actually get better at just like doing it to yourself or in front of the mirror. But if with no audience, including Zoom shows, no audience, I look at a mirror, tell a joke, and then make myself laugh, Batman's coming for me, you know.
Hey, I'm going to take it over to Krish real quick. I want to make sure I say hi. Krish, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you, Scott?
All right. So Krish is one of the most well-read comics that I know. If you ever check out his Friday show, you will get schooled and you'll laugh at the same time. So what's new with you?
So those Friday shows are currently on hiatus because one, I got burned out because writing a whole new hour to 90-minute show every single week is a lot of work, and I don't have like a staff like John Oliver does or anything.
Yeah.
But they'll be back. I think after all of the political insanity that America's going through right now is done and the holidays are over, I think I'll be able to focus on it a little bit more and come back at it at a better pace. But other than that, you know, I'm getting settled into this new space. Unfortunately, I got a studio, and then the studio then was shut down because of COVID. So now we're basically converting, figuring out how to convert them, you know, just like my bedroom again, and that I'm sharing with my girlfriend to become an interim studio space whenever I need to do live streams and virtual shows. But you have, I gotta say, you make me blush because you have like the best introductions for me that I've gotten. Yeah, most people are just like, I don't know, this guy's gonna say some shit that's probably gonna go over your head, you dum-dums.
Yeah.
Which is
it comes from the heart. So you know, it's funny. I interview a lot of people, and I get kind of close with some of them, and you're one of them that I really got close to. So we've got somebody that voted for Behind the Bits. Let's do it. Yeah.
Nice.
So if you haven't voted, vote, and you'll get that crazy sounder. But it's great to have you, Krish. I want to make sure we get a couple people to do some comedy before I have some music coming. So I'm gonna turn it over to Joel first. Joel, I hate to put you on the spot, but you're gonna be in the spotlight right now, so hit me.
Excuse me. My wife asked me a little while ago if I was prepared for the show, and I said, of course, I was a Boy Scout. Our motto was be prepared. Be prepared and don't touch me there. I don't go out much. I'm pretty well locked in. But when I do go out, I notice there are still people that won't wear a mask. And honestly, I think the only excuse for not wearing a mask is you don't have any ears. And I'm adapting. I used to go to the gym all the time, and the gyms are all closed. So no problem. No, I'm getting a lot of exercise, climbing up the walls.
Mhm.
2020 started off so great. I mean, I was booking 4 or 5 shows a week. I did 14 shows in 15 days, and the 2 weeks leading up to the virus, and then all of a sudden, bam! March hit like a prostate exam from a guy with big hands the size of a baseball glove, and he didn't use lubricant. It's funny. Speaking of lubricant, I noticed the term sexual lubricants has the word "cant" in it, lubricant, and I think it should be called lubricant. I'm kind of a trivia buff, and here's something most people don't know is Arnold Schwarzenegger. Schwarzenegger is a classically trained pianist, and when he was a little boy, the teacher wanted to have a recital, and she told all the kids, "Hey, I want you to dress as your favorite composer." And one little kid jumped up and said, "Oh, I want to be Beethoven." And a little girl said, "I want to do Chopin." And Arnold jumped up and said, "I'll be Bach." And so it began. I was thinking, like most comedians, you're in the shower and you get some real bizarre thoughts or just different thinking. And I was wondering, if a guy is on death row and he orders Chinese food at his last meal, should we include a fortune cookie? I mean,
Nice.
Okay, how about giving him a cookie with no fortune in it? Or how about a fortune with tomorrow's guaranteed lottery numbers? Or better yet, how about the fortune that says, "Meet me in the courtyard tomorrow at 8, we're breaking out." And my favorite one is, "Help, I'm being held captive in a Chinese fortune cookie factory." And, from my demented mentality, I think it's too bad they don't use the old methods of execution. I'd come up with great fortunes. I mean, if they used gallows, I'd have a picture of a picture of a noose and just say, "Hang in there, baby." Or a picture of the electric chair going, "You're going to be in for a big shock." And I think Chinese food is a great way to have your great last meal because, this way you're not going to be hungry an hour later. I read recently the United States government spent $12 million on a grant to determine the perfect amount of sleep. $12 million. That was a waste of taxpayer money because we all know the perfect amount of sleep is 10 more minutes. Traffic in Los Angeles. I'm in Los Angeles, by the way. I really didn't get my introduction because I started everybody talking about being older and audiences. But I'm in Los Angeles, and as you probably know, we have the worst traffic in the country, and mostly too. We have carpool lanes, the high occupancy vehicle lanes, and so I carry an urn with my dad's ashes in it. I got pulled over, and the cop comes to my car, and I go, "Hey," I pointed to the urn. I go, "These are my dad's ashes. That counts as a live person, or as a person. And he's like, your father's dead? I go, well, yeah, it's the only way we could get him. I'm kind of glad basketball season's over. I'm sorry hockey is over. Here's the thing. I think basketball players, thing I hate about basketball, I have ADD, and so they have all these timeouts. A 3-hour game really should last a maximum of an hour, but with all the timeouts, it goes 3 hours. I think it's because basketball players are big wusses, right? They're like, oh, coach, I'm sweating, I'm out of breath, my pinky hurts, call a timeout. Hockey players, these are real men. They're different. Hockey doesn't have timeouts. They don't even have, even if you're injured, right? I mean, your arm could be hanging off and not working. Lose some teeth, keep skating. They just keep skating. Guy's eye pops out, scoops it up with the hockey stick, pops it back in his eye, and keeps skating. No, this is sissy stuff. So, and I'll tell you, the one thing during all this craziness is my wife made me see a therapist. I'm doing it on Zoom, but she goes, you need to see a therapist because you're always acting angry. I said, I'm not acting. So I go to the therapist, and she's a lot like the airlines. She charges me for my extra baggage.
Oh.
And about halfway through the first session, she's like, oh my God. She's really frustrated. She's like, okay, let's try something different. Let's play a fantasy game. If you could do it over, would you marry your wife again? I said, no. She said, well, what if that meant you wouldn't have the same kids you have today? And I was like, oh, this game just keeps getting better and better. I'm Joel Brill, you lovable curmudgeon. Thank you all.
Oh man, that was great.
Thank you.
Nice.
You make getting old actually kind of cool, so that's great. Krish, I'm going to put you up here because I know you got to get away here pretty quick. So let's get right next to each other. And I just want to say, Krish, I've always appreciated your point of view, and I've always appreciated the fact that you are so passionate about everything you do. It comes out in your comedy. Your comedy is fantastic because of it. And you were one of my breakout guests for the podcast. You were you were in the first bunch, and you were the guy that I could ask a question and you just started talking, and I didn't have to pull stuff out of you. So I really appreciate that.
Well, thank you. That has not really ever been a compliment that people have given me.
Me neither.
Yeah, usually it's just like, yeah, we asked you a question, and the answer was basically a one-word answer, but you wrote a fucking paragraph, you nerd. Nobody needed to, all of that, and I was like, yeah, but we did. When I went to this was about a year ago, my mom was getting her citizenship, and one of the questions, like when you're in the waiting room, they ask you questions that might be on the test, and one of the questions was like, what started the Civil War? And she was like, do you know the answer? And I was like, well, there were several things that started the Civil War. There was an economic tension. Yeah, the Union wasn't really all about getting rid of slavery. It was really about what they can do in terms of labor. And my mom was like, just say slavery. Just shut up and say slavery. And I was like, all right, fine, slavery. And I was like, and she's like, don't do that in your interview because you will not. They don't care how smart you are.
Well, thanks so much for being on the show, and my close personal friend Steve Frito said to follow you on Twitter because you're for real. So what's your Twitter handle?
It's at Krish Mohan Haha, KRISHMOHANHAHA.
Excellent. And I do follow you on Twitter. However, I forget to open Twitter. I'm like, Oh yeah, Twitter, and you know, once a week I remember to open it, and I'll tweet something, then it'll go away. I just when you're a boomer, it's Facebook only. That's the only thing you can handle.
I wish that was it for me. I really get tired of social media, but yeah, thank you, Steve. That was very nice of him to do, and vote for Behind the Bits.
Yes.
Let's beat Conan O'Brien. That's what I want.
Yes.
Yeah, and let me know you vote so I can give you a nice sounder.
I want to drown in Conan's tears.
and and to the point about the citizenship test, Krish, I think they definitely don't care that you're smart, but I think they definitely care a lot that you don't sound smarter than them.
That's true.
I think that's a sore spot.
Yeah, that is true. It's I will not bring up anything about the Fed. That's
it's like give us the correct answers, but holy shit, don't elaborate.
Yeah, the second you do one of these, when you push your glasses up, that's when you know you're, yeah. And that's when they're like, get out of here.
Yeah, they ask you a question, and you're like, well, they're like,
Nope.
you're right.
Yeah, we're done. Conversation's over.
You're gonna take all the good surgeon jobs.
All right. Well, thanks again so much,
Thank you,
Krish. I
Scott.
appreciate you being around, and I believe I've got Anna PS coming in to do some music here in a few minutes, but let's get a little bit more comedy going on. Ashwin, do you want to do a set, buddy?
Yeah, if you can, I would just like to try one thing, which is there's a layout in StreamYard that allows like presentations, which means like there's like one big screen and a bunch of little screens. Is that doable?
Let me see. So I've got share screen.
Well, no, at the bottom there's just like a bunch of little things that allow you to do squares of people, right?
Yeah.
There's one with a big screen and a bunch of small screens. And now you can drag my screen to the, like, if you click on my little screen. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, boy.
Look at that.
Yeah, awesome. Because I love having an audience, and now you are all hostage. I'll start with some levity, but I do want your permission because these are just observations I've had recently. Can I just, with respect, make a little bit of fun of your election process, if that's okay?
For sure.
The rest of the fucking world's been doing it.
Okay,
so, yeah.
and this has no, like, you'll tell from the joke, it's got no lean whatsoever because it's merely an observation. But I think I have a theory as to why it is harder for the Democrats to win these days. And I think it's because they had a huge, awesome stretch where they had, as president, a smart young black man. And they said in the next election, well, if it ain't broke, let's fix it. And then they gave you an old white lady. And the only good thing about the old white lady was the lady part. But then she lost, and they were like, oh, we see what the solution is. And they changed the lady part. So now you're back to old white dudes. And I know what I know you're thinking, oh, like it should be based on merit, and that's true, but it's irrational to expect a popularity contest to be based on merit. So but yeah, that's the only political joke I have. But I was reading recently, and I was reading about marketing because I have too much time on my hands. And I was reading about a marketing campaign that Coke and Pepsi ran. And it was about how after every commercial, Coke used to say Pepsi sucks, and Pepsi used to say Coke sucks. And what that did was it convinced the entire population that there were only two options worth consuming.
Ah.
And I did some more research about any other corporations that have done that, and it turns out that a corporation that has done that is America.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the only political joke I have. Sorry. Is it okay for me to be a little bit crass, Scott? I just want to check. Awesome. I've realized recently through the pandemic that I'm addicted to either furniture shopping or porn, but I can't tell which. Because I moved into a new house with my friends and I had to furnish the whole place, so I've been spending a lot of time on Pinterest. But then I was watching porn the other day, and in this film, this man pushes this lady across this table, and my brain immediately went, "That's a nice table. I wonder if that's reclaimed wood." You know, there's a problem when you're looking at porn for furniture inspiration. That's all I'm saying. Uh, I realized that I when I first moved here, I found it very unpleasant that people tend to bastardize my language sometimes. Just like really small things, like when they walk into Indian restaurants and order chai tea lattes, or naan bread, because the thing is, chai is the Hindi word for tea, and naan is the Hindi word for bread. So if you walk into an Indian restaurant and Indians look at you weird because you just ordered some chai tea with some naan bread, it's because you just asked for some tea with some bread. And that's not a good look. But then I was okay with it, because I discovered that you don't just bastardize my language, you also bastardize your language. Because I was in this car with two girls that were driving me home, and they were talking about some dude that they find really hot in their apartment building. And one of these girls was like, "Oh my God, so there's this dude, Trevor. He's so hot. And I really want to date him, but I talked to Stacy, who dated him, and he said he's got a shitty personality, but I kind of want to date him anyway, because what kind of girl would I be if I judged a book by its cover?" And I said, no, that other girl read the book. She is telling you it's not a good read. You are ignoring the review, then looking at the cover and being like, "Oh my God, what a nice cover. I wonder what's inside." Like, if you want to fuck them, but don't make a whole language suffer for your own retardation. I do agree with the phrase that you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, except for books. Like, I feel like the designer put a lot of work into the cover. Why wouldn't you look at it? I think the phrase was just coined a long time ago, when the covers of books were gold embossed with just titles. So it's more like, don't judge a book by its title. And I'm like, I don't even judge porn by just the title. I look at the thumbnail. Like, I'm not sure what you look for in your pornography, but I'm not interested in the plot of the story. There's no Rotten Tomatoes for porn. There's no critic going, "I watched Midsummer Night's Cream on Pornhub." And I'm sorry to say it doesn't meet our high standards here at Vanity Fair Casting. The plot was too shallow, and there was not enough character development. It was only 5 minutes long. But why would I take the risk of not looking at the cover of a book? Because the cover gives you a lot of information, right? So you'd be able to decide what book you don't want to read. For instance, say I'm 9 years old and my parents tell me to read and believe a book with no explanation, and then halfway through the book it feeds me some sob story about some dude turning water into wine and two people populating the entire earth. And if I'd looked at the cover, I would have known it was fiction. It says right there on the cover, "The Bible, #1 bestseller." With all due respect, I'm not saying Jesus is fake. I'm just saying Jesus on a stake kind of reminds me of a scarecrow in a field. And both of those things were designed to instill fear in animals so that animals would behave. Sorry. Okay. I'll give it back to you, Scott, with this. But I've been making fun of my sisters recently, which is my #1 hobby. Because if you ever grow up with siblings, you will realize that is your supreme sovereign duty. So every time I go back home to India, I have 5 sisters. And every time I go back home to India, they say, "Ashwin, we are the reason you are so comfortable with women." And I say, "You are also the reason I don't like them very much." But recently they've been trying to teach me. I also grew up in a household with 5 women, so lots of things are weird to me. For instance, I moved into this house with 2 male roommates, and I told them that we needed to go shopping for a duvet and a bed skirt, and they looked at me weird. I wasn't aware that growing up in man culture is drinking things that taste bad. Like every time I go to a bar, people are like, "Hey man, do you want to get a pitcher?" And I'm like, "I want sangria." I never learned. But the funny thing about my sisters is they're trying to teach me about makeup, and they say, Ashwin, men say they don't like makeup, but what they really like is a no makeup look. And if that were any woman other than my siblings, I would have said I find that completely agreeable. But with my sisters, I was like, nah, son, I disagree. And then I had to look for reasons. So I said, I don't like makeup because I like clean bed sheets. And then my sister said, no, Ashwin, makeup is self-expression. Makeup is art. And I said, if makeup is art, I'm supposed to be able to dislike art, right? So where how come everybody's makeup is the Mona Lisa? Where is the Picasso? Where is the Michelangelo of makeup? And why does everybody think their makeup is the Beatles? Maybe your makeup is Nickelback, and I'm tired of listening to the same song over and over again. Yeah, I think if you can say, "Oh my God, Nickelback songs sound very similar to each other, and I don't like them," you should be able to say, "A little too heavy on the mascara there, Heather." But thank you for letting me tell you some jokes. I hope you enjoyed them. Thanks, Scott. Appreciate it.
Oh man, that was great. Thank you, Ashwin.
Good stuff.
I hit the wrong button.
I was like, wow, that bad?
No, that was funny. I LOL'd. So yeah, that was good. Thank you for being on. And one of the guys I've met that I'm really glad I met you. So thank you for being on the show. And hey, folks, if you vote for Behind the Bits on the Discover Pods annual awards thingy, let me know. I'll share the link again here in a second because I've got another link in my clipboard that I shouldn't share because everybody will be able to get on the show then. But yeah, I'll share that in a second. But next, I want to bring up.
Scott, before you do that, I just want to. I have to get out of here and do a show. I'll be
Excellent.
back in about an hour or something. I didn't want to jump out
Great.
while they were doing their thing. So thanks for having me for a little bit, and I'll see you in about an hour or so.
Thank you. I'll still be here. And thanks for your support, PJ.
Oh yeah, man.
And I'm going to bring Anna.
Back.
Well, how's that working? I need to drag her over. There we go. There's Anna. P.S. Anna, how are you?
Great. How are you tonight?
I'm good. So a fan of your music, and I'm a fan. I'm a music fan more than anybody knows. Even though I can't sing a note, I can't play a note. I'm just totally tone deaf. But you can still like music when you don't listen to music. So can you tell me a little bit about yourself before you get started?
Yeah, sure. I'm out of Goshen, Indiana. I am an indie folk artist. Those are all boring things. I was a full-time musician, and I was touring about 10 months out of the year before COVID. I did just take a day job a couple months ago. I've been working part-time. Yeah, so that's a big transition.
So I hope this isn't an off-putting question, but are you in a box right now? Has somebody kidnapped you?
There are a lot of things that I could explain about my life. I'm in sort of the shed studio at the moment. My cat is out here. I hope he doesn't get obnoxious. Normally, whenever I do anything important, he knows. Let me start racing around the room right now. So.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure you weren't giving me any signs because I'm not real good at subtle stuff. So as long as you're okay, I'm okay, and we'll be able to move on. I'm in a box,
but I put myself here. So
strum twice if you're there against your will.
We'll send Liam Neeson to fucking save you. It's fine. We got his number.
You probably trace IP addresses. That's a thing these days.
You know, one thing I got to say is that as I've gotten older, so I used to be like I was a metalhead, and then I was a punk and all that stuff, and I'm really getting into the singer-songwriter stuff simply because there's a story. You can actually hear it. It's not overwrought with 7 guitars or whatever. And I still listen to my Judas Priest once in a while, but I really like the singer-songwriter stuff. I wanted to ask you, I was hoping that In the Void is one of the songs you've got queued up. Is that something you can do tonight? Or
I can. Yeah, I take requests of all the songs that I know.
All right. So I'm going to turn it over to you to play. And folks, I'm going to mute everybody but Anna just so we don't get any residual noise. But Anna, it's all yours.
All right. Well, a little bit.
Okay. Sorry, I actually muted you.
No worries. I think I'm back. I write a lot of sad, serious songs about life for the most part. But contrast is good, I suppose. This song is it's a fictional breakup story about a real breakup. I misunderstood a story a friend told me, and I thought my version was more interesting. We drove across Arkansas, the Carolinas, in the fall was not to Kansas City. We split up, but I don't know how to walk. Seems every day I can't get through the operators and home. Are we home? Well, I think I thought I'd find you on the other side of me, but I can't see past you. I need you to be. Well, who are we? We drove across Arkansas, Carolinas, in the fall. The leaves were turning brown before you left. And we drove ourselves insane. We drove right past the exit plane, and I am getting off now. I am I'll be starting over alone if I don't. Grief sometimes will mirror all the things we've held inside. Hips to see things clear when we cannot decide. And profound doubt says I swear someday, not next to you or in the fray, the road reveals what was not left behind. In my mind, drove across Arkansas, the Carolinas, in the fall was not to Kansas City. We split up, and we drove ourselves insane. We drove right past the exit lane, and I am getting off now. I am good now. I'll be starting over alone if I don't. And we drove ourselves insane. We drove right past the exit lane, and I am getting off now. I am good now. I'll be starting over alone if I don't.
We're clapping. Everybody's
Oh,
clapping.
thank you. Can I play a new song for you guys? New song, new instrument.
Yeah.
I'm traveling and touring all the time. I've been getting a little bored. So my latest instrument I'm working on is viola. I apologize if you play viola or another string instrument. I don't play it properly. I just I really like the timbre. So. Roots all day. This is not my first. How many times will it be time to start over again? How many times will I leave the dirt behind? New house all day. This is not my first. How many tries before I lose the fire inside? How many tries before I lose my mind? Life we get a certain set of chances, but all my dimes have gone to other dances. New day, all day. This is not my church. How many places will I go before I find something true? How many people are encased in plastic tombs? Book, old ways. This is not my words. How many years must a soul be buried alive? How many demons must I leave behind? Might we get a certain set of chances, but all of my dimes have gone to other dances. You roll all day. This is not my first. How long until we begin all over again? How long until I find peace within? New rules all day. This is not my first. How many lives will pass by before I find my dance? How much of life is just a game of cards and chance? Might we get a certain set of chances, but all of my dimes have gone to other dances. I'm still dancing. That's the end. But that's it. Thank you.
Not that one.
I'll take it. Oh dear. Yeah, so when we're okay, what works for you?
Yeah, let's do one more. And I just got to say that when you get a certain age, you get emotional whenever you hear something that strikes you, even a commercial. And I'm pretty busy doing stuff, but that last one got me a little bit. So I'm going to let you do another one so I can compose myself.
All right, perfect. Let me just check my guitar real quick. I'm having a weird tuning issue. It's possible my cat jumps down here when I was not paying attention. Yep. Yeah. Yes. Yep. You know, this, I normally hate to play outside, but that's been the only chance I've had to play this summer. And it's the constant guitar tuning, always, forever. Yeah, I see that you posted my Instagram. That is a good way to find me. That's a bit more my personal life. My Facebook, it's the same handle for everything, Anna PS Music. I post on Facebook and communicate there a bit more often, but yeah, I'm easy to find on the internet. They say that emptiness cannot be captured in words. They say the loneliness, it is always a passing return. Into the void I long, try set alone. It's the only way to go to the best unknowing of where I've come from. I am that most of life cannot be learned in what's known, and I am the more I know, the less I seem to have learned. But emptiness cannot be captured. Loneliness, it is always faster. Emptiness cannot be captured. Loneliness, the void, it's where I've learned to breathe on my own. And it's where I've learned that I've never been alone. They say that emptiness cannot be captured in words. They say the loneliness, it is always a passing return. In the still, in the silence, in the void, in the dark, in the empty, in the void. Well, I found what I sought for. You'll find what you seek for.
I'm opening up the mic so you can get some real applause.
Great.
Thank you. I've been enjoying all of your comedy.
Thank you so much, Anna.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that you could maybe do some comedy yourself. You've got a pretty quick wit.
I'm working on it. I've been hanging out with Steve Frito and some of the improv folks.
Steve Frito, my buddy. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Thank you so much for coming on and doing some music, Anna.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, this has been a lot of fun, and I put your Facebook page up on the comments as well,
perfect.
so that came through. So everybody, make sure you follow her, and when you get to play live again, I'll make sure I'm there to see you. And since you're close by, Goshen is the arts mecca of Northeast Indiana, or Northwest, or whatever we are.
Central. I think we're in the middle.
Yeah. Well, thanks again for being on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. Best of luck.
Yeah, thank you. All right. So,
He's good, man.
I got all kinds of people showing up. Look at this. Yeah.
Oh shit! I'm in the thing.
Instead of putting her in the. Hey, I'm going to do a couple more. I'm going to do a couple more sets here. How did I get over here? Holy cow! Let's move it over. I'm going to do a couple more sets, but I want to talk to John Poveromo for a minute.
Sure.
I think I'm seeing a little bit more buoyant John than I was expecting might happen. So how's it going, John?
It's going good. I'm excited about the election, man. I think it's just watching Trump's empire kind of crumble at this point. So
Yeah, boy.
I'm in full gloat mode, man. I mean, there is no. I just love that these people are fucking freaking out in the goddamn streets right now. Doing literally everything they told us we couldn't do for justifiable reasons. Now they're suddenly out. Just every fucking redneck from here to goddamn,
I refuse to call it an empire. You have to build something for. Yeah.
Not just take forcibly.
I figured. I thought. I would have assumed the layer of caked on makeup was something that he built that could easily fall. So that's what I was going with.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exciting though. I don't know how you guys feel about it. If you're celebrating yet, I know some people are cautious about it, but no, I think it's in the bag at this point.
Yeah, I think it's
none of his anybody directly related to him Republican wise is even touching anything he said recently.
Yeah.
Like they're all like, fuck. Like nobody's doing shit. Like normally they're out there like covering his ass and like trying to tell people what he really meant. And right now they're like, I don't know. Do you know him? I don't know him. I don't fucking know who he is. I don't know that guy.
The problem is, Johnny, even if like it looks like Biden is gonna fucking get home on a home run without question now, but even if that happens, just shy of 50% of Americans voted for a fascist. So it's a good day on one hand, is a bad day on the other. So
it is 100% an alarming fucking problem. But
I think one thing that we've realized in the last 4 years is we do know where we stand as a country. That's at least we know that, and we do know that there's a lot of folks out there who are scared that the 1950s America is going away, and that women actually have rights, and people of all colors and people of all sexual preferences have rights, and it's bugging them. So
I don't think they have to worry about women having rights. They have a shit ton of rights, but the fact that I don't know, the majority of fucking white women voted for Trump anyway, it means they didn't learn anything after dating assholes in high school,
Yeah.
This is one thing India. This is one thing India learned a long time ago. We have laws, we just don't have law enforcement.
Yeah.
And we have law enforcement that doesn't listen to the laws. So I mean,
that's the outside perspective on that. During your protests, when the U.S. military was deployed on citizens, every American citizen was rightly terrified. They were like, "This is horrible. They're deploying the U.S. military on U.S. citizens." Meanwhile, everyone in Iraq and Afghanistan is like, "Oh my God, is the U.S. military giving you problems? Tell us more. What's that like?" They're like, "Yeah, good.
Exactly.
Keep your military in your own country where it belongs. Stop sending them to help us with democracy."
Exactly. That's the reason why they did it to us. We pulled out a lot of troops out of those other countries, and they were like, "We got to fucking hit somebody with something."
Yeah.
It may as well be our people. I mean, they were just
honestly, I think if the United States comes out of 8 years of this horrible accident that you've been living through with some humility, the rest of the world will clap for y'all.
Oh yeah, I think so too. I mean, it benefits the rest of the world too, because it in the beginning, like he was leading by example to a certain extent, where other countries jumped on the bandwagon. You know, the fucking UK with that idiot Boris. You got the other one in Brazil. Like they all kind of stemmed from that kind of Trumpian, ideology. They were like, oh, we can be openly pieces of shit. We didn't. We didn't know. We thought we thought this was just cornfield behavior. We didn't know we could take this live.
I have an outside 2% chance of an opinion that the reason everybody hated terrorism so much is because the police were like, oh my God, they're dividing people on the basis of hate. That's our job.
Have I had both of you guys on the talk show at the same time?
No.
I don't. So I need to get John, Ashwin, and Krish at the same time, and then I'll just go have a beer and let you guys take it.
Let me tell you something. That is a level of hair you're not ready for. I mean, this guy beats me in beard. I got the fucking John Stamos thing going on circa 1995.
You're a handsome man. But I do want to say something.
Okay.
Yeah, I do want to say something, John. As I said, as I've done the podcast, some things have happened that I didn't expect, and I really kind of gotten invested in some of the people I've talked to because I like them, and we're a long ways from each other. Being in Jersey and me being in Indiana, but it's we really kind of. I guess we melded a little bit. We both have some of the same maladies going on, and sometimes it's hard for us to get out of bed and stuff like that. But your Duppet short was one of the things I kind of wanted to show, but I don't think I can for copyright reasons. I think they might kick my feet out. But
I'll tell you right now. I mean, if it helps, you can just grab it off of that YouTube channel and show it. I don't mind.
Yeah. Well,
I might say it's okay.
Yeah, I might do it towards the end, but I just really connected with you, and one thing is, you're kind of a big deal. I mean, you're on Sirius XM all the time, and you're really one of those guys. And every time I ask you for something, you're like, "Okay, I'll be there. Tell me when." And I got to say, I really, really appreciate that.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate. Like I said, the first time we started talking, I felt like an instant kind of camaraderie with you, and you're a great interviewer, and you're a good dude, and a lot of fun. And I wish we did leave closer, because I guarantee you we would actually wind up hanging out. So it was just nice, and I appreciate you always having me on, and you always have nice things to say. And plus, I get to meet a bunch of other comedians and shit like that I wouldn't have normally met otherwise. So this is a lot of fun for me.
Yeah, thank you. And I need to do something here. I got to get into the right.
Sure.
Here we go.
Are you gonna play that sound again after I do that?
Jesus!
It was an accident.
Well, somebody voted. Here we go. Ashman voted. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I just want to thank you again for dropping in and helping the cause. This podcast has blossomed into something that I take very personally, and I want to make sure that not only is there a great outlet for comedy, but I'm also helping people get noticed too, and that's people like you that always come back and support me. Really makes me feel like I'm doing the right thing.
I'm glad, man. It's a great show. You got a great thing going here.
Yeah, thank you. And as always, we are we're going a little long, but I want to get a few more people up to do a little bit of stand up for me. And Jamie, do you got a set?
I haven't got a full set, but I wrote down a blurb, if I may.
It's all yours, baby.
I wrote down a little blurb, but this is written under great duress doing a really bad water infection on painkillers. So here we go. Amen. So, hi, I'm Jamie Dykes. You might recognize me from the Behind the Bits podcast and the Behind the Bits podcast comedy competition, where I underprepared, overly drunk, and I was high on fucking painkillers. When I filled my 5-minute set with the word fuck, stutters, and complete bullshit. The Behind the Bits podcast welcomes comics from all walks of life. In a world where we are spoiled for choice for podcasts ranging from comedy to murder, music to murder, conspiracy theory podcasts to murder podcasts. Is a podcast for everyone. But the only one that counts is the Scott Curtis Behind the Bits podcast. Until I get my own fucking podcast and then Scott Curtis can go and fuck himself. I was gonna read out some tweets from some famous individuals just before I leave everyone crack on with it. Behind the Bits podcast is what I was created on the 7th day. That's from God. The next tweet, Behind the Bits podcast is in Russian. I don't speak Russian, but it's from @V Putin. The next tweet is Behind the Bits podcast is fake news. No prizes for guessing who the fuck that's from. And when it comes down to who has the best podcast, I can't say. And on the advice of my attorney, I'm pleading the 5th Amendment. That's Jeffrey Epstein's tweet for the Behind the Bits podcast. Oh, wait, that was the 9th of August. That was the day before he was murdered. So basically, you can forget Live Aid. This isn't about fucking money. This is all about votes. Give Scott Curtis and Behind the Bit podcast your fucking votes. It doesn't matter if you spat in your nan's face during COVID or if he made you his bitch in prison. Vote Scott Curtis and Behind the Bits podcast. Peace and love, brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
I gave you the full clip for that.
It was just a blurb I wrote shortly.
I really appreciate it. And I think that when you did the comedy contest, you were it was probably one of the first virtual things that you did. It's a little bit different, isn't it?
It was your virtual podcast was the first gig I actually done since the end of Feb, and it was the first like online podcast I fucking did ever. So it was like gone 1 a.m. in the morning. I was excessively drunk, and I had taken a few Zappine as well, and it was a bit of nerves, and it was also a lot of me being unprepared as well. So it's really unprofessional on my half as well. But it was a complete fucking disaster on my end. But a few weeks after yours, I did another Zoom gig as well, which it went 100 times better. So I was more prepped on that one. But either way, I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to jump on your podcast competition comedy shenanigans, which it was great. I had a good time. I was fucking steaming, so I can only apologize again.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go to Jersey and give John a big hug, and I'm gonna go to Wales and show you how to drink, baby.
Yeah, man. Do it, boy.
I want to make sure I get some of the early folks in to do a couple bits. First off, Sandy was one of the first people in the darn room even before we started. Sandy, you want to do a little bit of stand-up, sit-down comedy for me?
Yeah, sure. How many minutes do you want?
Let's do between 3 and 5.
Okay, all right. So anyway, y'all may have noticed that I'm a woman of a certain age. Okay, and my eyesight's getting worse. I'm more easily confused. Okay, tonight before I jumped on the Zoom call 10 minutes early. I'm sorry, the StreamYard call 10 minutes early. All this technology confuses me. But before I got on here, I'm brushing my teeth, right? And I'm like, oh, this tastes like shit. So I look down, and it's preparation H. Okay? I'm brushing my teeth with hemorrhoid cream. So like now my gum line's receding, but my ass is minty fresh. Oh, guys, speaking of my ass, I went out and I bought myself a pair of thong panties. That was a big mistake because my white ass in that thong looked like a head of cauliflower wearing a rubber band. After those birds in the trash. Oh, I'll tell you, man. I gotta stop looking at myself in the mirror when I'm wearing my glasses, because I start to see things I never noticed before. Like, since one of these varicose veins been popping out of my legs, Jesus Christ, the back of my calves look like testicles. You know something? I don't. This past summer I wore shorts. I didn't care. I wanted to be comfortable, and I discovered that those varicose veins just brought out the blue in my eyes. So, so I'm glad some of you in my age group understand. When I'm talking to the young people, they're wondering, like, what's my aunt doing up here? And I'm like that cool aunt, okay? The one who smokes a blunt with you and treats you to lunch at Panera. No, I'm just kidding. I would never pay for lunch. But now my nieces and nephews call me Auntie HC, but they know better than to call me asking for money because I'm usually the one hitting them up. Yeah. Hey, Auntie HC needs cash for weed. Another thing you should know about me, I am very uncoordinated, okay? Like, I tried doing a Zumba class online, and I was, like, flailing my arms around so much that my Apple Watch thought I was having a seizure and called an ambulance. Hey, how do you think I got the medical marijuana card?
Hey, nice.
Hey, but honestly, I can't handle all the smoke. I don't smoke weed anymore. Not when they're edibles. What? They're starting to kick in, so you better cut me off right here.
Oh, that's great. I got here we go. Get to this. There we go. That's how you use StreamYard. That's
okay.
That's fantastic, Sandy. I'm glad that I have somebody on that's about my age. Do you remember life before the internet?
Yes, I do. Only too well.
Yeah, it's weird. The only problem is our age people are using Facebook, and it's not good. We're posting all the minions. I don't know why, but we're in the minions. I think it may be because the pills we take to stay alive looks just like them.
Yeah, that could be it. We can relate to them.
Yeah, that's all the comedy I'm doing tonight.
You guys do. You guys do post a lot of minions and a lot of like all the racist shit. Like,
yeah.
Like the dichotomy there is pretty fucking drastic. It's like Pixar shit, and also black people are weird. Like that's what you guys tend to. It's the avenue you.
John, it's
in.
minion, thin blue line, minion.
Yes.
All lives matter.
All lives matter. Yeah, exactly.
All right, Sandy. Thank you so much. I'm gonna be totally nuts and see if I can get Bo to do a couple minutes. Bo, do you got a couple minutes for me?
Yeah. Actually, it's a funny thing with that whole Facebook thing. Like, old people have these like weird ass nostalgic pages that says like growing up in Indianapolis in the 70s and 80s. Remembering what when farts weren't so common, or whatever nostalgic shit you all remember. Oh God, it's been a long day. I was driving around and I saw people setting up for Christmas already. Like, those are the people who start Christmas before Thanksgiving are also the people who finish sex early, Speaking of Christmas, Macy's is like, oh, we're not having store Santas, and my germophobic daughter was like very happily disappointed in that. No Santa, no Rona. Works out. Then she started asking me questions like, does Santa have to quarantine for 14 days? Good question. What if he passes the Rona to all the elves? Do we just go to Amazon for everything? You know. Little sip of coffee here. I'm quite the coffee junkie. I realized I was a coffee junkie, a Java junkie when I was like cutting beans up with razor blades. This is like the worst drug ever. I don't know why we go to NA meetings. I went to an NA meeting. Then I realized we're not getting rid of like the addiction. We're just transferring it over to coffee and cigarettes. Everybody's out there barely even taking a breath, you know. Oh man. I know I look like I'm a drunk and I do apologize for that. But it's a whole lot worse than that. I'm a teacher. I'm a teacher. I teach history, high school history, basically because karma's paying me back for not paying attention in school. I'm like the worst history teacher ever because I teach the stuff that's not in the books. It's like history after dark, you know. Like for instance, yeah. I mean, like we all know Columbus came here in 1492. Big fucking deal, you know. But what they don't tell you is he actually wrecked a ship, and then left 40 guys on the island. I bet those were all the complainers. Are we there yet? Oh my god. Probably went like, U40, we need food, go forage. Yeah, get in the fucking ship, let's go, move! Then he gets back and they're all dead, you know? The natives like, oh, fuck this, kill them. They're out. You know. Then I teach some like really crazy crap, like, you know, when it comes down to like, I teach U.S. history, so I got to deal with World War II, and so we talk about like Hitler and stuff, and I got to remind them, you know, his legacy sticks with us all. This is the bastard that came up with the highway and the Volkswagen Bug. Therefore, Hitler invented the punch bug. Boom, motherfucker. I'm originally from California, and when I moved to the South here in North Carolina, I used to hear like, the South that rides again, the South that rides again. I'm like, bullshit. And then I looked around and went, oh, Walmart. South did rise again, you know. Moving to Charlotte it really interested me because like, hey, I can't make right turns, and I'm in NASCAR country. So. But I will say I do keep the car out of the wall. You know, Charlotte people hate that joke. It's like, oh, God bless Dale. I'm a Jeff Gordon fan, so, you know. All right, that's me. Thank you so much, Scott, for this. Vote Scott. We should go Scott 2024. How about that?
Yeah, no doubt. Thank you. I'm not fit to be president, but thank you for popping on, Bo. You know,
who the fuck is appropriate to be president? I mean, come on.
Kanye.
Jimmy Carter.
Thank you for proving my point.
Hey, I got to tell you, folks. You may have heard of Zoom bombers. I've got some StreamYard bombers. I don't know how they got the link, but I've got some people trying to get in. The funny thing about StreamYard is you can't come in unless I let you. So
oh my God,
stop
is it
trying.
Dean? Is it Dean? I think it's Dean.
No way, man.
It is.
I'm here all the time.
One of the things I was going to put in the blurb, it slipped my mind due to painkillers, was the man can bring Dean Martin back from the dead just to jump on a podcast. That's how cool he is. I mean,
absolutely.
So
I actually have to pop out of here though, so I wanted to say goodbye and thank you.
Hey, thanks, Sean. As always,
nice
I appreciate your support, and someday we're gonna have a beer together.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
Or whiskey, whatever shots. I don't care.
Whiskey, and we'll go visit Paula Poundstone together. I'm getting you that fucking interview.
Keep trying. Keep trying. I will. I'm on a list. Thanks.
Yes, you are. Not the right one, but you're on that list. Take care, man. Bye, guys.
Thanks a lot, John. Yeah, so I'm doing this like Jerry Lewis, man. I'm going to go as long as I have to go, and if we go longer than 10 o'clock, that's cool. Whoever is trying to get in the studio, I'm not going to let you in, so stop trying. I'm booting you every single time. But anyway, first, before I get George up, I want to do a rosacea check. As everybody knows who watches me at all, I've got really bad rosacea, and when I drink, it gets bad. So it's popping out pretty good right now. I'm only on beer 2, so rosacea check, still there, folks.
Beer 2. What time? What fucking time is it your end? Beer 2.
I'm 8:30.
Oh fuck me. Well, I'm 1:30 a.m. So yeah, let's just do it.
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it over to George here. Hey, George, you got about 5 minutes for me?
Oh, sure.
Okay, excellent. We're running a little long, but I want to put you on for a little bit because you've been a good supporter. So let's put George on, and boom, there we go, George. There you go. It's all yours.
Okay. I want to apologize right now if my set is a little off. I did have some edibles, and I'm not sure how strong they were. Does anybody know how much they usually put in edible underwear? Was I the only one who was disappointed that edible arrangements was just fruit? So I am a father of 2 daughters, and that is not a dream situation. I mean, it's not the dreams. I mean, it's not the dream I had when I was younger of being surrounded by females. It's not that same dream. It's not. I mean, the cat's female, and it ignores me. My oldest, we were at the dinner table, and as a parent, you always look for those opportunities to have those life lessons. So my daughter starts talking, and she's still chewing her food. Life lesson, right? Honey, don't talk with food in your mouth. Without missing a beat, she reaches in, grabs the food, takes it out, and continues to talk. I can't get mad at her. She did exactly what I told her to do. So, yes, there was a life lesson, and I still learned that lesson well. But as comics, a lot of our comedy comes from our childhood, that trauma that is our parents. And my parents were fucking awful. For comedic value, they were nice. They brought me up to be nice. I mean, my mother bought me a life insurance policy. But I think that was so when she said, I brought you into this world, I can take you out, at least I'm going to make some money on the deal. And even though my mother is on the right-wing side of the politics, she was one of the pioneers in the all-gender bathrooms. I remember the big long line. She'd walk into the men's room and say, "There's nothing in here I haven't seen. I'm using the bathroom." But I found that comedy is filled with bald jokes, racial insensitivity, family dysfunction, what I did when I drank too much, when I smoked weed, or when I took this drug. Problem is, I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. A full head of hair, and I'm white. So what the fuck do I have to complain about? Now, when I say I'm white, if the lights went out right now, they put me by the door so you could find your way out. I walked up to you and I did the fist bump with the explosion. At that moment, it would no longer be cool. I was, however, a successful rapper. Of course, that involved a table at the mall around Christmas time. I did actually get to see a rap video being filmed. We arrived, a friend of mine was a promoter. We arrived around 2 a.m. at this empty warehouse. And I was dressed, dress shirt, dress slacks. Got out of the car, the artist walks up to my promoter friend and says, "Hey, who's the narc?" That was me. But think about this. How bad of a narc would I have to be to come dressed like this? But I am getting older. And I know this by my mail. AARP keeps sending me crap. And I'm talking full, color, glossy, Cialis-like ads. Thanks so much. And the hearing aid companies. So I can't hear and I can't get it up. Then senior living. So I'm feeble too. But most recently, the crematorium. I'm not old enough that I need to wear Depends. I'm just lazy. But things have changed. I mean, when I was younger, we had incels. We just called them dorks. And the thong, we just called that a wedgie. And internet, I could hear my internet connection. And porn, porn changed so much. It used to take hours to download porn. And guess what? It was never worth the wait. Now you've got instant streaming, you've got categories, you've got channels, you've got a fucking recommendation list for your porn. But then someone sits down at your computer. You get that tightness in the pit of your stomach, that fear. It's not that they're going to see your porn history, they're going to fuck up your recommendation list. But it is nice though. Technology has brought us, Google Voice and Alexa. So I'm no longer the only one with a disembodied voice telling me things to do. What's that? Yes, I think that joke should have gotten a bigger laugh too. I don't think we need to kill them. Hey, what? Hey, hang on, let me ask. Does anybody have an axe I can borrow? A machete will work.
He does.
All right, that is my time. You guys have been a great audience. I am Gio Wagner.
Yes. Geo, George, whatever you want to go by. Thank you for stopping in. Love the purple shirt. It seems like people our age just go towards the purple. I don't know why. I've got like 3 purple shirts in my closet.
Well, there's probably a woman in your life then, right?
Yeah.
That would explain it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd have black and gray. That's it.
So thanks for being on, and I appreciate your time. I appreciate your support. So it turns out that the people I thought were StreamYard bombers were actually part of Steve Frito's improv group, and I was kicking them many times, and I feel really bad about it. I was like, okay, I've been in some of these Zoom rooms where people come in and they're smoking crack and they're doing just bad stuff and showing a bunch of porn and stuff, and I thought this was going to happen, and it turns out I was totally wrong. Only the right people are getting the link.
Just tell them it was part of the comedy bit. You knew it was them. You were just pranking.
Yeah, so we shouldn't be streaming porn. Is that what you're saying? Or
yeah, just not on the feed. Just not on the feed. So I'm gonna let Steve get his folks in order. They've been working. These folks have been working with Steve for all year, getting their act together. And I've got a few more to come on, and they may be pissed off at me because I kicked them out of the feed so much. But I'm gonna let them get together. And Micah, I'm gonna put you up here, and I just want to say, first of all, thank you for your support. Micah's one of my first Patreon supporters, and I appreciate that. How are you doing tonight, Micah?
Pretty good. Excited to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Well, thanks for being here. And I'm gonna put the vote thing here in real quick. Folks, if you vote, tell me you voted so I can give you a cool sounder. But the purpose of this is to vote for the Behind the Bits podcast in the Discover Pods annual awards under the category of Best Interview Style Podcast, so I can beat out people like Conan O'Brien and Mark Maron and Dax Shepard and those hacks. So I'm hoping that we can pull this off, because they don't care about it, and I do. So maybe it'll work. So, Micah, I'm going to let Steve get his people together, and what I'm going to do is put you up and let you do a little bit of sit down, stand up. How about that?
You want to do it now?
Yeah, let's do it now.
Or you don't want to let them go first?
Yeah. I'm changing things up. I'm like Jerry Lewis.
That's fine.
Don't sleep with your cousin.
Well, I can go now if you want me to.
Yeah, you're on.
All right. So, well, thanks again for having me. I'm happy to be part of this. And I'm missing going to live shows. I also miss flying because somebody else always handles my baggage, and I don't have to drink to wake up next to strangers. Also, all the kids around me are perfect birth control and keep reminding me why I don't want to have kids. And the other thing is, people always ask me, why don't you want to have kids? And I tell them, I'd rather have pets because putting kids in cages is frowned upon. And if you think about it, just look at like when you have to go on and buy all these diapers, just look at how much they actually poop. 16 to 23 pounds a day. That's more than me after a trip to Taco Bell. But if you think about it, flying is the perfect date. The drinks are included. You don't have to decide whose place you're going to. And free birth control. Yeah, last week it was Halloween, which was also my birthday, and people always ask me, "Isn't it great being born on Halloween?" And I'm like, the only thing for me is like I'm ghosted all year round. For people that don't know it, I've also been vegan for 4 years now, and my friend keeps asking me, "Isn't it tough being vegan?" And I tell her the only difference between us is my meat substitute is battery operated. She also asked me, don't you want to take a break from being vegan and just go have some tasty food again? And I tell her, why don't you go take a break from your toxic relationship and find somebody to have sex with again? Yeah, I actually prefer food over guys for the main reasons food usually stays for 48 hours, where most guys are gone after 12. Plus, food always leaves me satisfied. Yeah, my last boyfriend actually broke my heart twice. Once when we broke up, and then he went to change his Netflix password. So now it's only chill. As a kid, I always had to get my sister's hand-me-downs, and now that we're both grown up, she takes mine because we have the same taste in men. She even picks him up from my house, and she always tells me the parents already know him and he stays in a family. But the good part is they let me use the Netflix password. He also kept telling me I was being disrespectful, but I don't think it's true because my parents taught me manners. They said to never interrupt somebody, so I waited until he was finished when I walked into him on him. He was also a strong believer in give and take. He was giving me presents and then taking my money. Which was one of the reasons I had to break up, because I got a deal for an Apple Watch with my neighbor for half the price that he was asking, and I didn't even have to sleep with her. But being single is great. I have so much room in my bed for my pillows, my blanket, and all my regrets. But for him, I was just a second-hand girl anyways, because it always took my hand secondly to finish it. Yeah, my sex life is kind of like an oil change. It only happens every 6 months. It only takes 5 minutes, and I get to stay in the car. Yeah, recently after the breakup, I need a new challenge, so I ran a marathon, and it actually went well because I had 42 weeks of practice running from a toxic relationship. But the race, just like dating, was painful, exhausting, and in both cases, I didn't get to finish first. But the good part was I finally did get to finish. Thanks, everybody. That's my time.
All right. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Micah. It's been great getting to know you throughout this whole Facebook thing and podcast thing. So, tell me, what do you have going on? Are you doing any live shows yet, or are you just doing virtual stuff?
I'm doing both. I will be doing a stand-up bit tomorrow online on the Extreme Improv live stream. I'm doing a guest slot at 5:30 Eastern time tomorrow. Then on the 20th, I'm doing a live show in Columbia, South Carolina, and another one on December 10th in Charlotte, North Carolina. And besides that, just mics and online stuff wherever I can drop in.
Nice. I hope someday when everything opens back up that I can go to Huntsville to visit my son and actually see you on stage. So that would be cool.
It'll be fun.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, first of all, for your support, and thank you for doing a set for the telethon, because voting for Behind the Bits is what I'm looking for. Behind the Bits at all you got to do is the btbpc.com/vote and vote for Behind the Bits under Best Interview Podcast, and then my rosacea will get even worse.
2 checks now.
I'm gonna turn it over. I want to talk to let's rearrange this a little bit. I want to talk to my buddies. How's this working? There we go. I want to talk to my buddies Zach and Dylan from Some Nobodies. How are you guys doing?
Hey, doing great. How are you?
Yeah. Fantastic. So I explain this every time that we get together, but we're both on what I like to call a trash Facebook group involving podcasts. And then I found you guys, and the first podcast I found was Silicon Angels, and which is something that I binge listened. I got through all the episodes in 3 days, and totally got hooked on it. I'm waiting for season 2, and I need it. I got to have it. So make sure it comes. And then the podcast, which showcases some weirdo podcasts throughout the internet, and that's coming up, and season 2, and you guys got a lot of stuff going on. So first off, before I have you take the reins here, tell me what you got going on.
Well, Scott, we appreciate you being the shepherd for this flock of black sheep comedians.
Nice.
I actually said it. All right, cool.
You got it.
No, we are primarily podcasters right now. We have a few different shows going on. Like you said, Silicon Angels podcast. We have another one in production.
Mm-hmm.
What all are we talking about? I didn't come prepared for this.
Well, we have Talking Upstream.
Yeah.
We have Super Empowered.
Okay.
We have I'm Nobody.
Yes.
We have Zach and Sus High Five. Right. We have our review of Lovecraft Country. We do have the one where you keep calling your parents and they refuse to answer. Wait a minute, you're right. Well, you're outside of my house for some reason.
There are like 45 episodes of that one.
We do have the one where we troll really bad Facebook groups.
That one's pretty good.
That's pretty good. It's getting really good. But no, we do a whole bunch of weird stuff. We're really content creators. If anything, that's what we're trying to do. We're in the process of making a movie right now. But yeah, we do a lot of, I guess, fictional and improv-based podcasts. And yeah, like you said, Silicon Angels season 2 should be coming out within the next couple of weeks.
Started recording it.
Yeah, we started recording it. Maybe a month. But yeah, that's it. We just do a bunch of weird shows, and we interview a bunch of weird people, and we find a bunch of underappreciated, underlistened, and sometimes just plain bad podcasts, and we review them for people just to make sure they don't need to listen to them.
Yeah, being polite.
And I got to say it's entertaining because both Silicon Angels and podcast they're not super long. They're between 20 and 30 minutes, and you can listen to it on your drive to work. You can listen to it when you're going to the store or whatever. And it's really, really easy to get into Silicon Angels. I always harp on that, but I mean, you got sex robots, you got tech support, and you got murder. I mean, what more can you want out of a podcast than those three things?
Well, hopefully a couple things, because we worked a couple more things into season 2, and so hopefully people might like clones.
We've got a horse up in this apartment, actually.
There's
that was weird.
Yeah, the weird robot horse was weird. We have a whole bunch of weird stuff coming for season 2. A lot more phone calls. Simon has been in constant contact with us, so we get a lot of his weird voicemails and everything. So yeah, we try to keep. I found out that Dylan's attention span is roughly 25 minutes. That's the most I can usually keep him engaged in anything. So we try to keep our podcast about the same time. At least he'll listen to it.
Yeah. I'm about a third of those listens, just so I can go back and critique my own writing.
Yeah.
You guys are rocking my world with the new stuff. Clones, come on. You got sex robots and clones, come on. So you guys have something prepared, so I want you to get to it. Let's go.
So Zach's more of an improv guy than I am, and rather than be dragged in his wake, we prepared sort of like a cross interview, where I think we're just gonna go with it. A lot of our humor is more found in the moment.
Well, you said that I was going to interview you. That way people could hear you talk, because I'm usually the talker.
No, I'm interviewing you.
See, we're an interview-based people. We interview a lot of people, and we're not really used to being interviewed. So I guess we're just going to interview each other.
How about you start?
I'll start.
Okay.
Good question.
Okay. I didn't ask one.
Oh,
I said you start.
Sorry.
You have a whole
that was
list
my
right here.
That's my second thing. Where are you from?
It's been a while since I've been asked that, and it's kind of a long story. How familiar are you with the western half of the United States?
Okay, so unfortunately, that is a question that I get quite often. I guess it depends on what is your knowledge of the Evergreens.
I mean, you would ask that, but I mean, how often do you think I climb trees? Look at me. I haven't stood up all day.
No, okay.
I'm not a stand-up comedian.
That's fair. You are a tree climbing comedian. But one quick question though: why your parents?
Why my parents?
Why did you choose them?
I mean, if I come back at you, why are you the way that you are?
Oof, there's a lot to unpack there.
41, right?
41 is that is a number, sure. But more importantly though, what would you say is your favorite liquid?
My favorite liquid. That's a tough one. You really expect me to like choose between all of them?
Do you expect me to answer that?
I mean, I kind of asked it. I thought I was going to be the one interviewing you.
Yeah, you always think that, but let's just skip ahead just in case. And you do podcasts.
I'm going to be real here for a second. When was the last time you cried?
Ooh.
Last time, not in 5 minutes when we're off the air.
When was the last time you used hemorrhoid cream as toothpaste?
Ooh. When did you steal that joke from what we just listened to 5 minutes ago?
Why did you choose to ask that question right now?
No, okay. I think it's my turn to cross something off.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, are we actually using this for something later?
No, this is my homework.
Okay. I think that's all I have.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay.
I didn't come prepared. I said that earlier to like foreshadow this. I'm a writer.
Yeah, so I told Dylan that we had a 45-minute stand-up routine that we had to prepare for, and he wrote down 10 questions for me to answer, and I refused to do it. So in turn, I wrote down 15 questions because I'm better than him, and this is where we get in most of our meetings, which is why we end up doing improv for our podcasts. What? Really? Okay. Well, anyway, Scott, you might as well just figure something out because some nobodies, I think, just broke up, and I'm just going to get doing that, slamming the door. Oh, geez. All right. Well, either way, just so you know, I did start about 17 extra emails to make sure that I could vote for you. I also had to vote one each for my podcast, so 16 plus the one extra for Behind the Bits. And I have been pushing it in every single trash Facebook podcast that we can think of. And I guess until Dylan comes back, I'm not really... Oh, now you want to come back?
Yeah, I forgot my hoodie.
Fine. Yeah, that's pretty much all we got. We're just a bunch of idiots, and we just talk and ask a bunch of questions. So,
all right. Well, I got to say, for the votes, I'm going to give you this.
Again.
That's okay.
Wait, what?
We got a womp womp womp.
You got a womp womp.
That's okay. Yeah, okay. Dylan comes back in the applause. That's fine. But yeah, we didn't want to take up any room from your stand-up comedians. We're not really stand-up people. But
I'm a stand-up person. I don't
No, you guys are stand-up people because I threw you some support, you threw me some support, and just the fact that we're doing that is fantastic. It's really cool to find people who are doing independent podcast, independent work, and being creative and making stuff happen, even though they've got absolutely nobody believing in them except for their audience. And that's what we both are.
Well, Scott Curtis, we are your number one fan, and we appreciate everything you're doing. So thank you very much.
No one who claims otherwise.
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll keep bullying Facebook for you.
Right back at you. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thank you.
I want to bring up one of my former podcast guests, Mr. Showtime David Scott. David, how are you?
I'm great. How are you? I honestly thought that the two guys from Some Nobodies, their picture had frozen because I came in on the stream. They were just staring at Mika. Just would not just like
it's
like they were they were focused. How you doing? Congratulations on all the success.
She might be attractive, but I'm so damn old, I just don't even know anymore. She's probably about the age of my kids, so I don't know.
Okay. First of all, when you call someone they might be attractive, that's insulting.
Okay. Well, okay. She's attractive. Okay, there we go.
I got in right at the end of her set, and I'm going to assume the accent is Jamaican. I couldn't place
Oh,
it.
thank you. Never heard that before. More exotic than it actually is.
What's going on? I'm sorry?
It's Germany.
Oh, I know. I've been to Germany many times.
I never heard Jamaican.
That's just I didn't know I had to come with jokes, so I just came in to say hey. So
I really appreciate it, and I got to say that I listened back to our interview, and it was one of the more I guess in-depth interviews. It was one of those that I didn't talk very much, which is good. And I got to say, I'm building a really good library of really good comedy advice, and it's because of people like you who say, yes, I will do the podcast. And that means a lot to me, that not only did you do that, but you did the BTB Internet Talk Show. You stopped in tonight, even though you are Mr. Showtime David Scott, one of the best comedians in the entire United States, and can sing Michael McDonald like nobody's business. And here you are. I mean,
I can sing like Michael McDonald and dance like Michael Jackson. It's a crazy combination. I've been doing this since I was 5 years old. So this is my fourth decade of performing, and I'm nearing the end of my run. I'm 50 now, and I was taught not only from my dad, who was a Broadway performer, which we talked about, but by another comedian, Kirk Nolan, who's my mentor, to say that at some point you've got to pass along your knowledge, because if you keep that knowledge all to yourself, you're just a selfish bastard.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to help the next generation. I actually got some people who contacted me on Instagram or through my YouTube page who heard our stuff and were like, hey, can you watch this part of my show? Can you let me know what you think about this? And I'm, like I said, I'm ready to help those who want to be helped. And it is, for me, important to take your knowledge and give it to the next generation, and don't hoard it, because because right now, and I've been doing this for 4 decades, and I've never seen comedy in the position it's in right now. I've never seen as low as it is right now. I've never seen the industry as depressed as it is right now. And I went through the downturn of the late 80s and early 90s, and I thought it could not get worse than that. And I've always believed that as entertainers, we have to empower each other, not stab each other in the back. And there's a lot of that the thing going on. So it's important to just find those that want to keep this business alive, because guys like me, we're running out of time. So I like helping out you and Joel Byers and other people that are doing podcasts or videos or whatever, and just get on and just talk and just keep the whole wheel moving.
Yeah, I gotta, first off, I gotta say, I'm kind of pissed off that you're like my age and that you
That I look
look
this
so
good.
good. And I know it's because of clean living, but I can't quite get there. And every time I see you, I just get a little agitated, just a little.
You're not the only one. I've seen people that are my age or who are about 50 and they look like they're like 70, and I'm still getting carded going into the casino, and I can't buy a pack of cigarettes unless my mom is with me. So it's
Yeah.
But I honestly think it's just the hair. I think the hair really does a lot.
No, it's the face. You don't have any fucking wrinkles. I mean, I just,
Well, you got to
I mean,
moisturize.
look at
It's
my
all about
face.
you got to moisturize, man.
I do.
You're in the sun, man. You gotta stay away from the sun.
Okay.
Yeah, the sun will mess with your skin, man.
I'll take that. I will definitely take that. And I appreciate the fact that you're a Kiss fan, you're a rock and roll fan, and I'm here for you anytime you need me. I'm glad you were here for me. You're just somebody I like.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate it. I liked getting to know you. I mean, you knew me before I knew you.
Yeah.
But as soon as we started talking, I'm like, this guy's a kindred soul. He's we have the same outlook, especially our love of the Rat Pack,
Yeah.
which for me goes back to my days. My grandfather was playing Sinatra and Dean Martin and Sammy Davis Jr. in 1975 when I was 5 years old in Daytona Beach, Florida. And I grew up listening to Me and My Shadow walking down so I grew up with that music, and I can say from the bottom of my heart, and I mean this, and I want to say it to the camera, and I want you to put this on a loop and use it as promo. But from the bottom of my heart, Scott, you've got the worst Dean Martin impression I've ever heard in my entire life. It is pure
Excellent.
shit. It's pure
Excellent. Hey, Mr. Showtime David Scott, this is Dean Martin, and
oh God, you don't even say it's like, hey, no, it's like, hey, Pally, you gotta get lower. You gotta, hey, Pally, how you doing? You want to let the bird out of the cage and fly away? Tweet, So
I'm on my fourth double IPA that's got a chipmunk on it, so that's where I'm at. So I got to tell you, thanks so much for telling me I've got the worst Dean Martin impression when I actually am Dean Martin. You son of a bitch.
Then Dean Martin went to hell when he died. He came back because something happened.
I was frozen, damn it, and Scott's putting me up for a while.
No, but it was great that you reached out to me and just to find another kindred spirit out there who enjoys the old school kind of entertainment, because anybody who wants to really understand what comedy is, I mean, really understand what comedy is, watch the Rat Pack from 1960 at the Sands Hotel. There's videos all over YouTube. If you want to see what comedy, the joy that these three men had on stage together and having so much fun. And that's what I want to see, because what I see now is that I see young comics on stage who look miserable. They look like they're just, it's like pulling teeth. It's like they're going to the dentist. And they walk on stage and they just look. And I know that some of them are trying to be edgy and some of them are trying to be, counterculture, but the audience doesn't know that. You've got to have, you can still be edgy. Bert Kirshner looks like he's having a ball on stage. I know Bert.
Yeah.
He's edgy as hell, but he's he's having fun up there. Dave Chappelle is having fun up there. You know, Bill Hicks, you want to even go back to Bill Hicks or George Carlin or Richard Pryor. You want to go back old school. They're all edgy, but they look like they're legitimately enjoying themselves on stage. And when you're enjoying yourself, the audience will know to enjoy themselves too. But if you're edgy and pissed off and angry to be up there, the audience feels that negative energy and they give it right back to you. So it's so I want to see maybe in a year or two, because I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, you asked Mika, who left, if she's got anything going on, and I've got shows this weekend. I've got shows through November. I'm working every week in December. There are places doing comedy, and I just know that the people that are going to be coming out to see the shows, most of them are going to be in a mood that is not conducive to comedy. And it's our jobs as entertainers to get them in that mood. So you as an entertainer can't go up pissed off. Yeah, we're socially distanced. Yeah, instead of a 300-person crowd, there's 50 people. You've got to treat that 50 like it's 300. You can't punish those who came to the show. My dad told me, as being a Broadway performer, he said, if there's 5 people in the audience, if there's 500 people in the audience, you give them the exact same show. You don't punish those who came to see you. And I really want to get that message out to these young comics and just try to get them to, enjoy this. You're young. Enjoy this time and enjoy this, this freedom that you have right now. And it'll come back, and it'll come back to you in spades. If the young comics out there, if you look like you're having fun, what's going to come back to you is going to be tenfold. It's going to be amazing. You'll be blown away by it. So.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm totally in agreement with you on that. And once again, I appreciate the support. I appreciate the fact that you're out there making people laugh, and what people need right now is kind of that madcap rat pack type stuff, rather than some of the deep stuff that some of us get into. But I agree.
Yeah. So you anytime you want me to come back on, you just send me the message and I'll come back on and we'll talk some more, and we'll give PJ Keen a hard time.
He's got internet now, so everything's working.
He finally got rid of AOL. So for him.
Well, thanks a lot, David, and I'm going to turn it over here to my close personal friend Dan West. How you doing, Dan? There you go. You're on speaker.
I forgot where the unmute button was, because I was taking a lot of truth in from Mr. Showtime that apparently my entire demeanor is not good for comedy. Making an audience sad that I'm mad is apparently the wrong move, and that is a lot to take in. I was taking some notes, and I will try to do better next time.
You're still funny with your attitude.
Because us young guys. No, it's us clearly young guys. I'm trying to lie and convince everyone that I'm a young guy, and we're not supposed to be surly anymore. Us young guys.
Well, you're still younger than me, buddy.
Yeah, but that's a low bar, Scott. It's a low bar to clear. Like you picked Dean Martin to be your alter ego because he's one of the people older than you. I don't know why I'm being so aggressive at you when I really like you as a person. But
you know what? I can handle it. I can handle it, and Dean can handle it, baby.
Yes, you can, buddy. Yes, you can. You're over there hanging out with Frank and pretending that Ronan Farrow is not really his kid. It's fantastic. No one as attractive as Ronan Farrow was ever created by Woody Allen. Let's not lie to ourselves. We've got people in the audience nodding aggressively, because, I mean, you know what? Me being drunk doesn't mean I'm not right. I'm excited to be here, man. I'm glad you asked me to be a part of this. I'm glad that you were nominated for an award. I hope that you get it because you've been very great in general for comedy, and then also you've been very supportive of me. So I'm grateful for your support, and I hope that you get all of the success that you deserve because you've been fantastic.
Well, thank you so much. The funny thing is I got really invested in the people I talked to, and I was already invested in you because we've performed together and stuff like that. But the weird thing is we're comedians are very competitive, but we're also very intertwined and very, very close knit at the same time. So we want everybody to succeed, and at the same time, we want to succeed a little bit better than them. But it's really great to have somebody like you who, anytime I say, "Hey Dan, I'd like to have you on board," you just say yes.
Well, like it's a weird thing with comedy because we all want to do better than everyone we know.
Yeah.
But if anybody that we know is doing a little bit better, we are super down to ride their coattails.
Oh yeah.
So like you've got an audience that I don't have. So like separate from me liking you and wanting to be involved, I also super want to steal your audience. It would be dumb. It would be dumb for me not to say yes when you ask me to be on this.
Well, thank you for being honest about that. I totally appreciate it. Erica and Riva, I'm gonna do a thing with Casey real quick, and then I'm gonna get you guys on just so you know. I'm going a little long, but I want to make sure you guys know that I'm still with you. This is not Jerry Lewis quite telethon. This is me doing a telethon and doing everything, and my rosacea is terrible right now. Look at how red I am. I look like a school kid. And that's
I
been
would
out in
look
the
redder
cold
if
too
the
long.
lighting was better. If the lighting was better, I would look more red based on how much I've had to drink.
Yeah,
but I was very careful about my lighting.
Maybe I should turn it off. I don't know. I'm looking like I'm sick or something. But
Look, man,
I feel
when you're big enough to headline rooms like Salem, Indiana's Motorcycle Dive Bar, you start to learn about lighting. I don't know. You'll get there, buddy. You'll get there when you're ready to headline rooms with 17. I'm sorry, I was overplaying. 13 people in them. Then you'll be there and ready for the rest.
Oh, that's the best. That's the best. Well, thanks again, Dan, for the support, and thank you for sharing a large beer with me.
This is my second one since I logged in because I have a problem.
Well, I want to get over to Casey Curran. So this needs a little bit of intro. So way back in before COVID days, I came to your team upstairs to do an open mic, and I met a Casey Curran with really long hair and a beard, and now I've got this dude with a mustache and looking really suave, but you started putting this sketch stuff on YouTube and totally blowing me away. I mean, I watch this stuff and I'm not kidding. I laugh. I don't comedian laugh. You know what comedian laugh is? It's like, that's okay. But I actually, I actually do the real laugh thing. And I got to say, first of all, what possessed you to start doing this sketch stuff?
Well, since everything locked down in March, I wasn't really doing stand-up. And during the summer, I was living in a 2-bedroom apartment with a roommate, so I was keeping my sanity that way, just having someone to talk to. And then I moved into a studio apartment, and I found myself alone with my thoughts. So after about a month of that, just being in isolation, sort of alone all the time, I was like, I'm going to start making sketches and putting them on YouTube because I can't go out and do stand-up. I still want to do comedy. And I was watching a lot of bigger channels that do similar sort of sketch content. And I was like, you know what? I want to do that. And then I got into making sketches, and there's an entire little community of sketch comedy creators with 20 to a couple hundred subs that are just constantly making sketches, and some of them are really good. And I've made some friends doing that already. Just people who are also making sketch comedy. It's great. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and you've actually got some production value to your stuff. I
film everything on my phone, actually.
Yeah, and just the fact that you can do that for somebody my age is really cool, because I don't think I could ever do what you're doing.
It's just me shit posting on my phone. That's really all it is. It's just me making sounds into a microphone and putting it up. And actually, I think the new sketch just went live at 9:15.
Yeah, I'm watching the clock, and do you mind if I put it up real quick?
Yeah, go ahead. Put it in. Yeah.
And I'm at the same time, I'm going to make sure everybody gets the link to your YouTube so they can get everything. Make sure you subscribe, and also make sure that you get the notices when he puts new stuff up, which is like every other day. But yeah, let's do this real quick. First of all, I'm going to put it up. Now I have to talk myself through it because I'm an older gentleman, and I'm going to share my screen.
Do you need me to fill? Because I can fill.
That's all right. Yeah, just talk.
Right. Actually, when I started doing sketches, I was trying to post something every day. I sort of made that my mission to try and post something every day. And I only missed like 2 days, I think, in October where I didn't post a sketch. And I realized doing that wasn't sustainable going forward. So there's no way that's me saying I'm going to do a sketch every day. But I think doing like 3 or 4 a week is easy, honestly.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm going to get this over here so that I can make sure that I share your stuff.
I still see a timer. Should I keep filling? Professional broadcaster Scott Curtis.
No, I'm actually going to start it here. I want to make sure I made a copy of your YouTube channel. Let's get it going right now. Let me know if you see it.
I'm seeing a countdown timer on my end. Yeah, oh no! Well, I'm seeing the sketch now, so I don't know what you're seeing on stream. There's a stream. Hey Scott, I don't think we have audio.
Yeah.
There's no audio coming through. I mean, the sketch looks amazing. I'll say that. I mean, the way it looks is great.
Sales daily needs. A door-to-door salesman, insurance salesman? How it works is if you pay me, then I won't come back here and try to sell you a thing. You really don't want to miss out on this deal, dude. I'm the top door-to-door salesman, insurance salesman there is. I don't know. This sort of sounds like a scam to me. You say scam, I say legitimate business practices. It's actually a fantastic.
We have sound.
I didn't order food, and I already voted.
We have
sound. Hello, thank you, sir or madam, for opening your door for me today. It is good to meet you. I am a door-to-door salesman, insurance salesman, serving all of your door-to-door salesman insurance sales daily needs. A door-to-door salesman insurance salesman? How it works is if you pay me, then I won't come back here and try to sell you a thing. You really don't want to miss out on this deal, dude. I'm the top door-to-door salesman, insurance salesman there is. I don't know, this sort of sounds like a scam to me. You say scam, I say legitimate business practices. It's actually a fantastic value. All the reviews say so. The door-to-door salesman insurance sales is really a fantastic service, and it has changed my very life. Steve, the door-to-door salesman, insurance salesman. Yeah, my name is Steve. It really feels like this should be illegal. You, sir, seem like a smart customer and a very handsome one, and one that definitely needs door-to-door salesman insurance to not fall prey to door-to-door salesmen. Does this ever work? Look, there are door-to-door salesmen out here trying to sell people things every day. I'm one of those door-to-door salesmen trying to sell you insurance so that you don't get door-to-door sales. What happens if I just close the door? Well, yeah, you could close the door. That's really your choice. I don't like the way you said that. The way you said that makes me definitely think that you're not going to leave. Oh, sure, I'll leave and I won't come back. That's a promise. Well, I'm just going to close the door now. You good luck with your obvious scam. What, dude? So, you want to buy some knives or what? Oh.
OMG.
The way that started is actually indicative of the way all my content goes. It goes about that smoothly when I'm filming or when I'm editing. It's always just a gigantic train wreck. I think that's. But then it culminates in a sketch like you just saw.
Casey, first of all, same. My whole life is a train wreck, but the fact that I've got this really nice mixer board and the fact that I can't make your sound work unless I turn something off on it really pisses me off. I'm angry and I just want to punch the wall. But anyway, I met you one freaking time and I thought you were pretty cool. So when you started putting this YouTube stuff out, I was just totally on board with it. And I got to tell you, I actually watch, and everybody needs to watch this stuff.
Scott, I know you watch because I'll get you commenting on stuff once in a while. You were one of the first supporters of the sketches when I started them back in September. So thank you. You've always been supportive of me. So when you're like, hey, do you want to do this telethon thing? I was like, absolutely. I would love some exposure. I would love to come do my. I would love to come put a sketch on your show. So thanks for doing that.
And I got to tell you, people are actually watching. I have never had 0 watchers during this whole thing. So first of all, thank you for watching. If you voted for the Behind the Bits podcast in the best interview style podcast category on discoverpods.com, let me know. I've got a cool sounder for you. But if you haven't, or you still need to share this with friends, please do. Everybody needs to vote so I can beat Mark Maron and Conan O'Brien, those son of a bitches. Because
Scott, the important question is, how are you doing in Maricopa County? Are people voting for you specifically in the right counties that you need to win the Electoral College become best interview podcast? Is that
things just got real?
I feel like I'm gonna do some lawsuits against Mark Maron and Conan O'Brien directly, and I'm gonna say, hey, we need to stop the voting. Stop
the count, Conan.
Voting.
Stop the count, Conan. Mark Maron is a rigged election official, and he's crooked.
I saw him perform in a church in Grand Rapids right before the pandemic hit.
By the way, I specifically am not using a green screen background image. So if you want to like clip me in a green screen area, something wacky behind me, and you want to maybe tweet that to me and follow me on Twitter at Casey Comedy, that's content, and you're welcome to do that. And follow, just make sure you follow me when you do that.
All right, I'm putting that in the comments right now, except for my caps lock is on.
So and I might just retweet my favorite ones. So hopefully some people do that.
I'm actually keeping my caps lock on, so I don't care because I've been drinking, and I'm feeling pretty good about it. But thank you so much for being on the show, and
awesome.
I can't wait to get back to Kalamazoo to be on Team Upstairs and perform in front of people who actually walk out during my set. That's something I aspire to.
I thanks for having me on, Scott, and I hope you beat the shit out of Mark Maron instead Conan O'Brien.
Yes,
in voting, not physically.
Yes, I want to kick their asses, their collective asses, and Dak Shepard too.
Wipe the floor with all of them.
Yeah.
To upstairs.
Thanks, man. Hey, I want to talk to Erica Switzer here. Erica, how you doing?
Your
mic's off.
This means I have to redo that long sigh over again. Okay. How are you?
You know, I'm as good as I can be after sitting here drinking for a couple hours, 2.5 hours, and having to pee for quite a while. But that's okay. I can hold it. I'm a camel.
Nah, give it to somebody else, man. Go take a pee. You earned it. Somebody else can hold down the show.
So, Erica, I got to say, you're somebody I didn't know as much. So I went out and started watching some of your YouTube videos and some of your interviews. And I got to say, I'm a fan. It took me a couple days, but I'm a fan. I really like the stuff that you put out.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
So it's obvious you were doing stand-up before the pandemic, and you're doing some virtual stuff now, but I really like your take on stuff and the fact that you're I guess you're somebody who kind of tells it like it is when you're doing your stand-up, and I really enjoy that.
I appreciate that. One of my favorite professors, one of my mentors in college, said a quote to us by Charlie Parker. She said, "If you ain't lived it, it ain't coming out of your horn." And I took that to heart. And so a lot of my comedy is based on the truth. And hey, life, you know?
Yeah, and that's great because nobody else can tell your truth but yourself, and that's the same way I do it. Is that you just talk about your own life and what's going on, and guess what? It's funny if you say it right.
Exactly.
Yeah. So if you don't mind, I'd like to hear some of your stuff. If I'd like to put you on the spotlight here. There you go. If you don't mind, can you do some of your stand-up, sit-down comedy for me?
I would be more than happy to. And I will even time myself. Fantastic. Let's go ahead and get started. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Erica Switzer. So I am a Black American woman with a German name that used to teach English to French kids in Shanghai, China. You cannot get more American than that. I used to love my job. I used to take it seriously. I would teach my kids the classics like Macbeth. But with Kanye West is Macbeth, and Kim Kardashian is Lady Macbeth, the original clout chaser. I do believe it was Shakespeare who wrote, "Avast, she be a gold digger." And the lady doth protest a broke nigga. See? Now, I know you may be wondering why the heck I was over there. Well, to get in good with our future overlords. Black woman from Chicago. I thought I was going to come back and be here for President Ye's inauguration. Alas. What do I want to talk about? China. I don't know if you guys know anything about China, but weed is punishable by death. You get caught with weed, depending on the amount of weed, you can be punished by death. How do you think I functioned for the past week and a half? I have never been more proud to be an American in my life. There's been too many moments where I've been like, I am not nearly high enough for this shit. And on top of that, when I came back home and didn't have too much of a plan, I wound up doing, I wish Casey was still here. I'm an insurance agent right now. I'm quitting my job tomorrow. Thank you, Casey. I have a lot on my mind. I definitely have a lot on my mind, but I like to tell you a little bit more about some of my excursions in China. See, you're looking at me, right? I'm not all made up like I am on my flyers and stuff. I know I kind of look like the Wish brand of Whoopi Goldberg right now. But that's all right, because I will come back around. I had the distinction of being the first Black comedian to perform in Mongolia. That's right. It was like when Shaka Khan met Genghis Khan. And I don't know if you guys know much about Mongolia, but fun fact, the average age of a person is 27 years old. 27, right? And so when I got to the airport, I got picked up by a 27-year-old comic. And they're playing Kendrick Lamar, and everybody's nodding their head. And I'm like, all right, cool. And so the guy turns at me, he says, me and my friends grew up on rap music, and we call each other the N-word all the time. So what do you think about that? And I said, well, I'm not the authority on the N-word, but do whatever you want, my ninja. It's all right. That one usually kills. It's all right. This is a telethon, and I am high. Being that the weed is punishable by death in China, I had to go find my own little piece of Zen. And I started doing a little something called trap yoga. Okay, trap yoga. Aaron, you nodded your head. You're like, huh? Look, I am the kind of woman that realizes I can be righteous and ratchet at the same time. Okay? I am all good with stunting on these hoes in the name of Jesus. I'm good with that. And I decided I was going to go ahead and try trap yoga, right? It's some real mindfulness for that ass. It is beautiful. And I even learned how to do a downward dog while in a twerking position. One of my favorite mantras is by the great guru Rick Ross. It goes a little something like, every day I'm hustling. I don't have much of a voice tonight. was out kind of late partying after the Flappers comedy show contest thing. Psych, that thing finished at 11:45. I was tucked in bed. But anyway. I have a deeper voice for a lady, and I'm cool with that, you know? So I like to think that when I was in high school, all the other girls in class at 14 were praying to fill out. And I was praying for the voice of Barry White. You know, this is why when I wake up, my default is Wheezy Jefferson. And the one thing, I used to be married. I don't know. Half of y'all on here look divorced. I used to be married. And I used to hate getting woken up at 7 in the morning by telemarketers. So, you know, there's nothing like 7 in the morning, ring, ring. Hi, can I speak to Mr. Switzer? I just completely screwed my own joke up. I am that high. Sorry. It really goes, hi, can I speak to Miss Switzer? Yeah, that's me. Mr. Switzer, can you put your wife on the phone, please? I used to get tired of that. And it used to be really hard on me, you know, being out in Shanghai, doing the comedy at night, teaching the babies in the day. So I would hate getting to work and hearing my coworkers say, hey, you know, you got that phone sex voice going on this morning. But that's not what you want at 8:15 in the morning telling your third graders, please turn to page 56. You know, so I'm gonna have some hot tea and I'm gonna work on that. I'll leave you guys with this. Does anybody have a celebrity crush?
Yeah.
Who's your celebrity crush?
Gina Davis.
Gina Davis. Classic.
Yeah.
Classic redhead. Nice job. I probably flicked my bean to her about Thelma and Louise time. Anyway. My favorite, Idris Elba.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah. And this one time I was talking to my mom, and she's like, hey, you know what, baby? I just turned on this movie channel, and they got Idris over here wearing a cowboy outfit. I said, ooh, Mama, that movie was really bad. It got bad reviews. She said, I don't care about the acting. I just want to look at him. So I thought maybe Mama was on to something. And I went home that night, did my little self-love ritual, you know, dim the lights, light the candles all around. I got my box of Pinot Grigio, my coconut oil, put my dignity on my nightstand instead. And, so I'm watching this movie on mute, all right, on mute. And as I'm looking at this deep, dark, chocolatey man mountain I'd love to climb, and mid-beam flick, the thought occurs to me that maybe my own mother was doing the exact same thing. And I never came so hard in my life. You guys have been fantastic. I mean,
Oh man, Erica, thank you so much. I got to say that as a 56-year-old man who's been married for I've been with my boo for 37 years, and Idris Elba. Everybody shat on the Dark Tower movie, and I loved it because he was in it.
I still had to put it on mute and turn on my D'Angelo. You know?
He is a handsome man, and when he went on The Office, even though the ratings went down, I was still watching.
You know, in college, I used to do some drag kingery. All Idris. All Idris. Working on The Voice too, apparently.
Well, You know what? Thank you so much for being on the show. You don't know me, and yet you stopped in, and I really appreciate it. Make sure to put me in the private chat. Make sure to put all your links in so I can put it on the public stuff so everybody gets to know you. But thank you so much for being on. I appreciate it.
Thanks for the opportunity and good luck. I know I voted for it.
Thank you. And it is just go to the btbpc.com/vote, and you can vote for the Behind the Bits podcast for the best interview style podcast in the Discover Pods, whatever their annual thing. I've also been doing stuff and drinking at the same time, so there you go. But if I get those votes, the podcast will get more people listening to it, and I'll be able to support you all better than I even am now. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm going to turn it over here to my buddy Reva Riley, the fish biologist who has degrees from so many different colleges I can't even count them. But Reva, how are you doing tonight?
Yeah, I feel like all things considered, morale could be lower, and that feels like an accomplishment. So.
Hey! The country's going to do some stuff. I think maybe
Right? Anything could happen, or nothing, or everything.
Yeah, no doubt. So I think you're funny. So I found you through Facebook or something like that, and I think you're funny. So would you mind doing a few minutes of comedy for me?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like the last time when I was on your podcast, I did like really serious stuff about, like race and white supremacy, and I thought today I would, take a step back and do something a bit lighter.
Hey, doesn't that white supremacy stuff suck though?
It's a huge bummer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a fan. And there's something totally unrelated that really upset me in the news today. And that's when Anderson Cooper compared President Trump to an obese turtle. And that really offended me because likening Trump to an obese turtle is an insult to obese turtles. I have a very personal stake in this. You can perhaps see this odd little creature here. Yeah, that is that's my obese turtle, and she hasn't caused the death of anyone due to a bad pandemic response. So I don't think that she deserves that reputation. She's got a really kind of wild origin story as well. So like a couple of months after my grandma's funeral, and I know that like the death of a grandparent is kind of an odd decision for a comedy set, but bear with me. I was away at college, and my parents and youngest sister were going on a family outing. They were trying to cheer my dad up. His mom had died. And my sister spotted this tank of baby turtles for sale. And she said, like, totally chill, like, oh, hey, cute baby turtles, can we get one? And because none of us really know one another, it turns out my dad really loves turtles, and he like immediately agreed. And mom tried to be sensible, but it was just the first time that dad had looked happy in weeks. And mom finally asked him how long turtles live. And he said, I don't know, like 3 to 5 years, because turns out my dad has very little practical knowledge of turtles. And my poor mom, poor trusty mom, she agreed. She wanted my dad to, feel a bit upbeat. And they brought home what's essentially an immortal reptile, whose life has up until now been defined by my father's enthusiastic turtle ignorance. Like my dad, he didn't know what turtles eat, which is fair enough. But he wanted the turtle to be happy so bad that he took notes about her eating preferences and what she tended to go for in her turtle food. And her favorite thing was freeze-dried krill. So he just cut out the middleman, right? And he started ordering sacks of these freeze-dried krill online. It turns out that freeze-dried krill is kind of a specific product, and he had to order it from Korea. Turtle's all about it, and it would gobble up as much as she could, and that's how she got obese, as it happens. But anyway, my dad, he kept ordering more and more krill, to the point where he was classified as an importer of krill from Korea. He had to fill out paperwork and everything. And that worked out really well for a while, but it turns out that turtles need other vitamins and nutrients, and you can't just feed them krill. And a very specific vitamin deficiency caused the turtle's eyes to swell up. So Dad goes in one day to give the turtle her daily shovel of krill, and her eyes were like the size of grapes. And that was very upsetting. My dad and sister had to do a bunch of research and get these special eye drops from this exotic vet. It's really hard to give eye drops to a turtle. Like it takes like at least two people. Like you need one person to like wrestle it into submission, and she's hissing. Turtles hiss, and it's like it's just nuts. Like this tiny little Godzilla, And then my dad's got the eye drops, and he's like trying to. It's very dramatic. I only saw it once, but it was like a scene from Alien crossed with a scene from Jurassic Park. And if we, fast forward, like it was 11 years later now, my parents, they want to move out of the family home. They don't need all the space anymore. And this turtle is still young, so they need to rehome it. And that's, how I got involved. So I spent the summer at home with my parents because of the pandemic. And I had a new job lined up for the fall, and they start working me over. They would say things like, moving to a new place will be so much better with a companion turtle. And, won't you be lonely living alone? What would help with that? A small dinosaur friend. I think that reveals something distressing of how my parents view my social skills. And at first I really resisted it, like really hard. I didn't want the responsibility, and I didn't want this ungainly beast, and that's denial. And then they wouldn't let it go. They kept pushing, and I got really mad. Like this turtle isn't my responsibility. There's a reason I don't have aquatic pets of my own. I'm a fish biologist, and I don't want to bring work home with me. That was anger. Then I moved on to bargaining. Like, listen, why don't I see if I can help you rehome the turtle? One of my friends who's watching this right now, I tried to get her to take this turtle. So it went over a decade after my grandmother's death. I went through the same stages of mourning as I tried to avoid getting a lifetime sentence of caring for my father's grief turtle. Anyway, as we've seen, I did reach acceptance. This is Max. That's the turtle's name. And just like my parents promised, she's my best friend. Like, because of the pandemic, she's the only living thing I interact with, and she's my best friend. I think that I'm not sure I'm her best friend. I think she might be leaving her options open. But I would like 100% take a bullet for her, which isn't even necessary because she has a hard shell and would probably survive a gunshot better than me. But I love this turtle so much. I'd give her a kidney if that was a possibility. She's the actual beneficiary of one of my life insurance things. So anyway, I'm fine. Everything's fine. The pandemic is fine. Yeah, that's basically my life. And she does this thing now. She's sulking. She begs for food. Anyway, she's still obese, but she'll be fine. So that's where I'm at right now.
Reva, I gotta say, I'm up next to you. I gotta say that I love wildlife too, and every time I see a fucking turtle, I take a picture of it. So my wife and I got into kayaking this year because we don't want to be by people, but we want to be outdoors. And we saw so many turtles when we were kayaking that, I've got like 10,000 turtle pictures in my phone right now.
I can identify with that so much. If you want any more, let me know, because I've had this turtle for 3 months and I have about 1,000 photos.
Yeah. And the other thing is, which is really cool, we kayaked actually one day. I think we kayaked on a Saturday, and this was in a state park here in Indiana, and we kayaked on a small lake in the town I grew up in, and we kayaked through that lake, a little channel, and went to another lake, and an American eagle was flying around, and it actually landed in a tree, and it did not give a shit that we were right there taking pictures. So we took a whole bunch of pictures of it, and then the next day we went hiking in a state park, and I said, oh, wouldn't it be funny if we saw an eagle again? And wouldn't you know it, we saw an eagle. That son of a bitch landed in a tree right across the lake, and we took pictures of that too. And I'm like, hey, I saw an eagle 2 days. And then I got really bad rosacea and came home and drank.
I mean, I feel like that should mean that you're the next president, right? Like, saw an eagle 2 days in a row. I mean, that makes as much sense as the Electoral College, am I right? So
no doubt. I just saw PJ take a total hit off of whiskey, and I'm just drinking beer tonight. I feel like a lightweight. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. You know, you're very smart, and yet you're funny, and that usually doesn't go hand in hand. As I've mentioned before, my son is a rocket scientist, and he is smart and funny at the same time. So I feel like you're one of those people who could be my kid.
oh, I'll take that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'll take that as the compliment I assume it was intended to be.
Yeah.
That was quite a compliment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, your son is a rocket scientist, right?
Somebody said to share the whiskey, PJ. I don't know who that is. I'm starting to slur here because I've been having too much fun.
Good. I can't see the compliments. I can't see the comments. Like, if I could, I would totally. I'd like airmail you some. Oh, share that with Annalise. What's up, girl?
Annalise, I don't know you, but somebody does. So thank you for watching the show, and make sure you vote for Behind the Bits on the btbpc.com/vote under the best interview podcast. Holy cow, I'm getting tired.
What's the list? What's the list? Who's gone? Who hasn't?
Well, I've got somebody who has been on my comedy contest who, let's get this switched around, who is not only a comic but a documentarian. If I got that right, that word right, but
that's really smart. I'm not. No way. I have not documented a turtle. I don't know about turtles. I am nowhere near as smart as anybody here.
But you know how to present media. You know how to take media and put it into a thing and come out with another thing and show it to people to where they say, hey, that's a thing.
I like it when you're tipsy.
I mean, everybody likes things that they watch and say, hey, that's a thing. That's good.
Yeah, say anything with confidence and you will be
You can
everybody
learn
like,
it
okay,
off the
that's
internet. You just point, shoot, do the thing. You're doing it right now.
Yeah.
You're presenting a thing and we're all in a thing.
Thank you. And my face is so fucking red right now. I really need to stop drinking.
You wore that shirt. It matches.
I wanted to put a collared shirt on, so I looked serious. Let me just turn this light off and see if that's any better.
Scott, you look fine.
You look great, Scott.
That's a little better. Fuck it. But anyway, I want to say, first of all, you were in the comedy contest, and then when I pegged you to be on this thing, you said yes, and I really appreciate that because I know you have other things to do. But Laura Park, I just want to give you the opportunity to talk and give us a little bit of your bit. And I'm going to do it right now by doing this. And here you go. The stage is yours.
Okay, good. I'm going to put this in front so I don't see myself. We're here in my apartment. I live in a large studio apartment or a one-bedroom kitchen. great. You do the eggs, brush the teeth, and pull up the covers. Because mornings are scary. I'm not getting out of bed. I live in Hollywood, which is weird because you don't know if people are serious, crazy, or rehearsing a scene.
Oh.
One time I heard, "Don't hurt me. I'm going to kill you." Like, hey, would you do it again? It wasn't believable. Give her back the purse, put the gun down, take it from the top.
Well done.
Thank you. I have a homeless friend here, which is cool, but it's not that cool. I worry about him all the time. Like, I didn't see him all day yesterday. I was like, where have you been? Living in a cardboard box behind the liquor store. Oh, thank God. I can finally get some sleep in my Sealy Posturepedic pillow top bed. I'm an introvert, you know, and I got to say it's weird being an introvert because people are always coaching me, right? Like, get out there, Laura, go get them. You can do it, jerks. I want to coach extroverts. Like, get in there, get back in there, sit there. Overthink, cry, nap. There's so much to do. Relax with a murder book. Order pizza. No. Don't share it with your friends. You don't have any. I'm not watching the news. Actually, I'm trying really hard right now not to watch the news. But I don't trust it, you know? I don't trust the news since they reported that the virus was a hoax. Because, I mean, that's impossible. There's too many unanswered questions. If you're lying, you have the answer to every detail. Like, is there a Santa? Yes. Yes, there is. He lives in the North Pole with elves, comes down the chimney once a year, brings presents, blah, 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 blah. You don't turn on the news to, we don't know how he gets in the house. I'm single. I have one cat so far. But you know what I hate? I hate it when my neighbor calls her cat her baby, her fur baby, just flippantly. Oh, my fur babies. Gotta feed my fur babies. You don't even know what cat love is. If your cat doesn't wake up wet with your tears, trapped in your loving clutches, meowing, help me, you don't have a fur baby, you own a pet. Thank you. Thank you. It's for my people, for my cat people. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I gotta say something. I think one good thing, you know, that's come from all of this craziness in 2020 is that we're a lot more aware of mental health. And I think that is really, really important. I am from small town, very rural Midwest. We had no mental health. We just gave people nicknames. Like, hey, there's Screamy Joe. Hey, Screamy Joe, how you doing? He's fine. Oh, no. Is Donna crying? Well, don't you worry. She'll be happy again in a minute. That's Uptown Donna.
Nice.
Watch out for Friendly Fred. He's a hugger. Nice guy. Really gets in there. Gets in there. He gets in there. Can I get it? Thank you. Thank you. You know, so I've been thinking about 2020. I've been thinking about the whole like Armageddon aspect of it, you know? I mean, I didn't grow up religious. I learned religion from popular culture, like Judas Priest, Black Sabbath, The Cult. I really like classic religion. So here's another thing. They say, okay, this is what they say. They say that a snake convinced Eve to eat the apple. But like if a reptile just started talking to me, I'd pay attention. Everybody would. How many people have changed their car insurance to Geico? That's it. That's it. That's all I have.
I'm with you though. That was good.
I wanted to do all new stuff for you.
Thank you.
Laura, I gotta say you hit me on a couple different things. First of all, on pets, because we went through some shit at our house because we had two cats. They were brother and sister, and one of them died at age 15 about 5 years ago, and one of them died at age 16 4 years ago, and then we lost our dog like 3 years ago, and I may have the timing wrong, but we lost them all, and we decided that we couldn't handle putting another pet down, and we haven't had one. So my wife sent me a thing on this Boston Terrier that is up for rescue adoption, and I filled out the application for the adoption for that, and it turns out that, man, you gotta like give blood type, you gotta tell what kind of yard you have, you gotta talk about all kinds of stuff that I never knew that you had to talk about to get a pet. And I filled that out for her, and I swear it took me 45 minutes to fill that whole application out. So if we don't get that damn dog, I'm going to be pissed. And then two things. You mentioned the cult, because I'm a Judas Priest fan, but I'm also a cult fan. I got to see the cult like maybe 10 years ago, and Ian Astbury, turns out he's an asshole.
Really? I love how he says baby, baby, baby. Like, I wish like he would, I want like in my mind, like if I had a conversation with him, he'd be like, do you know where the bathroom is? Baby, 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 baby. Like,
yeah.
Baby, baby, baby. Just talk like that in regular.
No, it's not true. He was actually blocking our view from the warm-up band, which we really liked. And my brother tapped him on the shoulder and said, "Hey, you're kind of in the way there." And he just showed his badge that he was part of the band. Fuck you. And just gave us the badge. And I'm like, oh man, you're
Scott,
not that cool.
I'm taking it out of the joke. No more cult.
Yeah.
Taking it out of the joke.
No, keeping it. I still listen to him. The Love album is one of the best albums of the 80s. So
yeah, it's good.
Yeah. So I mean, it just is what it is. Thank you so much for being part of the show.
Oh, my pleasure. It's so fun to hang out.
I can't believe there's still people watching. People have been watching the whole time. I don't know if there are people who just put their stuff on, put their YouTube on, and just kept it on. But if you're still watching, thank you, and make sure to tell your friends to vote for Behind the Bits on the btbpc.com/vote under the best interview style podcast for Discover Pods, because that will help me to get a bigger audience and kick Mark Maron's ass, because that guy, he makes everything about himself no matter what.
Yeah,
and I don't do that, because that's not the way I am. But thanks for being on the show. Even though I turned the light off, my face is still really red. George is still here. George was here like at the beginning, and you're still here with your purple shirt, having hair, which is pissing me off, and being just funny and nice. And Erica came on even though she doesn't even know me, and Reva came on even though she's smarter than me. And
I'm not that smart. I've had a. Don't worry, I'm not that smart.
You went to like Harvard and Columbia, right?
Harvard and Cambridge.
Cambridge. There you go. I mean, that's smart.
Yeah, but I've also assassinated a jellyfish with my left butt cheek and stuff.
Word. I want to hear about that.
Incident that was burned in my memory, and my left butt cheek.
And then PJ from Boston shows up whenever I want him to,
Yeah.
even though even though I have never done anything for him,
I thought
he
you meant
shows up whenever I want him
You
to.
wanted to, like, yeah, I show up whenever I want to. I didn't know you meant whenever you wanted to. But thank you. That was super nice of you.
Yeah, whatever. Fuck you, PJ. And all the whiskey that you drink.
It's not that much.
What is it?
It's
Oh,
still,
it's Jim
like-
Beam.
Yeah, it's still very, very close to the top.
You got to step up. You got to step up from Evan Williams because I just bought a new bottle of Evan Williams.
Yeah. Oh, it burns though, doesn't it? Like
It
burns.
does.
Yeah.
It does, but it's $14.99 at Meijer. So
I know.
you know what can you do? I get it. So I've got a guy here that I want to get this situated here. Boom! I've got a guy here. I was on one of your shows and totally sucked. But you know, it was fun anyway. Aaron Despiva, how you doing?
Doing all right, man. You know what? It's just a bombing run game. What do you know? You get, it's always fun.
Yeah. And I got to tell you, it turns out that my green screen isn't as cool as I thought it was.
Hey, you know what? On StreamYard, my green screen looks really bad at this point. But it looks a little bit better in this little viewport. Otherwise, it looks like way out there somewhere. So.
Yeah, and I got to say, mine looks really good on StreamYard, but really terrible.
Yeah,
mine looks really good on StreamYard and really terrible on Zoom for some reason.
I'll give everybody a clue. Don't go spending tons of money at Amazon. Go to the dollar store, buy yourself the dollar tablecloths, the green tablecloths, double them up,
This is like
put them up behind you.
$2.
$2. Okay, PJ just bought a brick wall for $2. See, there you go. He stole it from the back alley from his apartment. Apparently, that's where he got it from. Is where he
It would
is.
be a lot cheaper than $2 if I stole it.
But I know that game's just fun. It's all in for fun. I kind of started just as something to get comics to be on my Saturday show. Hey, compete and be a middler on my Saturday show. And Reva's been on it. She's been on it too. So two people been on that. So. You guys still rock. You can come back on, Scott. Come on. I always have someone new as a judge. I think last week it was Judge Doom. I think was it? No. Who was the judge last? Oh, it was a Great Pumpkin because it's Halloween. That was a Great Pumpkin last week.
Yeah, I would be judge older gentleman with a really red face. So yeah, that would work out well.
No one ever knows who the judge is except for me. So that's how that goes. But it's all fun.
Yeah, cool. So you want to do a bit? You want to do some comedy?
I could if you give me about 2 seconds to set up the. I don't sit down to do stand up.
Okay, I'll give you a couple seconds.
All right, thank you. 2 seconds. You're mighty kind.
I got to say, Erica actually made me LOL, and so did Reva and Laura today. So I really appreciate you guys being part of the pack. And guess what? The Behind the Bits podcast is up for this award for best interview style podcast on what's it called? Discover Pods. And if you vote for me, I can beat people like Mark Maron, Conan O'Brien, Dax Shepard, just hacks.
Dax Shepard?
Absolute hacks. Yeah, and they don't want it. I actually tagged all of them on Twitter, and they didn't even give me anything. And I've been watching them.
Drug problems recently, so
yeah,
he doesn't even care.
Yeah, they don't care about Discover Pod stuff. No. And yet I do because I'm a little guy. Even though I'm 6'5", about 235, I'm a little guy, and I do this podcast called Behind the Bits where I interview comedians and learn from them so that I can pass that knowledge on to other people. And I'm starting to talk slower because I'm getting sleepy. Let's get Aaron up because he's actually standing up now. And boom, Aaron, let's do it so I can take a nap.
Awesome, guys. Thank you. Thank you so much, Scott. Great introduction. Look at my green screen. It's only this long. There you go. You know, my parents were going to name me Ron before I was born, but they wanted to remember where they first met. Alcoholics Anonymous. Yeah, addiction started when I was young. I got hooked on phonics. I don't have to go to the drugstore to spell prophylactic. That's P-R-O-F it. As fast as I screwed that up, you should see how fast I use them.
That boy.
I grew up on a farm in Idaho, and it was always scary going out at night because you never knew what was going to, chase you home. Coyote, cougar, sack of potatoes. Those things have thousands of eyes, man. No? Okay. There you go. Hey, when I was 5, I had this reoccurring nightmare. I was on the toilet in the bathroom, and Frankenstein's monster would break in and grab me. And I'd wake up, I shit the bed, and my parents made me sleep in the litter box for a month after that. The house I grew up in, it was called a German add-on house, and that's where you just add rooms as you need them. So they added on a kitchen, they added on a porch, and then they annexed Poland. And then this house only had 3 doors as well. It had a front door, a side door, and my dad kept asking my mom for the back door in the bedroom, but I never discovered that. And when my parents had sex in this house, you could hear the bed springs creaking. And you can't forget that kind of stuff, right? So I was pounding on the wall going, come on, guys, use your own damn bed. And whose parents would use kindergarten as a threat? Mine. Yeah. I thought for sure it was kid prison. The only experience I had with that was visiting my uncle in the gated community. He lived in a big house. Unfortunately, we buried my grandfather in the wrong plot in the cemetery. It was a grave mistake. The headstone next to where he was buried says, I'm over here now. I'm in Michigan. I'm near Flint, and so I'm back at the office now. And the water there just sucks. I have to flavor it with something like lemons, raspberries, cheers of Trump. And my boss gave me my performance review the other day, and pay attention and something else. A few years back, I'm very superstitious, and I walked under the corporate ladder, and now I'm cursed with middle management. It goes that way. My wife loves to scare me when I'm driving too. She screams and points and plucks my eyebrows going 75 miles an hour. I know we're going to die in a tragic car wreck, but at least my eyebrows will be well plucked when and I'll have a beautiful corpse. And I'm going to end on this joke. With all the social and political activism lately, I've been pushing people for change. Come to find out, no one's carrying any. Guys. Thank you so much for having me on here. Woo!
Thank you, Aaron. I want to thank everybody that's been on the show. Sandy Bernstein, Ashwin Singh, Joel Brill, Crush Moen, PJ Keene, Jamie Dykes, Dan West, Casey Curran, Zach Wiseman, Dylan Terry, Bo Johnson, Reva Riley, Bob Jorgensen. No, he didn't show up. Bob, fuck you. Erica Switzer, George Wagner, Dino Thorogood, Aaron Despiva. Wes Corrin was in for a second and left. John Poveromo and David Scott, Mr. Showtime, David Scott. I got to tell you, the response I got when I was asking for folks to be part of the show was a lot more than I expected, and I really appreciate everybody that got onto it. Honestly, Behind the Bits is all about me talking the comics and giving that knowledge to everybody, including myself, and what's come from it, especially during this pandemic, is I've been able to just understand comics and get to know people a little bit better, and hopefully help them out a little bit, help them get a little bit of promo and get out there, and that's all I want to do. I don't want to make a lot of money doing this. I don't want to make this my way of living, but I do want to help people out, and that's what I'm here for. So everybody who's left, we only went 15 minutes long, so that's cool. So Aaron, Erica, PJ, Laura, George, and Reva, thank you for hanging out with me during this last hour. And anything you need, I'm here for you. So shoot me the links. Tell me what you're doing, and I'll put it out there for all my tens of listeners, and I'm sure they'll come.
I just need your social security for that credit loan application. Hold on a second.
Well, this has been a lot of fun. I've been holding my pee for just about an hour and a half now, and I'm a good camel, but not that good of a camel. So I'm gonna sign out, and thank you all for being part of the show. Thank everybody who was on earlier, and thank everybody who voted. If you vote for, if you go to the btbpc.com/vote and vote for the podcast, that will help us beat all those big boys out. People like Mark Maron, Conan O'Brien, Dax Shepard, all those hacks out, and get the podcast a little bit more exposure, and get everybody that's on it who are actual working comics, not people who've done Netflix specials. Get the word out about them. So that's what I'm all about. Thanks a lot. I'm going to sign off now, and thank you all for being part of the show. Have a great rest of your night. I'm going to take a nap now right after I go pee. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.